Welcome to Tired Thinker, a quiet corner for minds that move slowly and ideas that arrive softly. Tonight's reflection drifts towards something subtle and deeply human, the invisible forces that shape our lives. They guide our choices, influence our emotions, and quietly form the patterns of our days. We rarely notice them, yet they touch everything, from the way we speak to the way we dream. There is something comforting about slowing down long enough to notice these currents. In a world that rushes forward, this space exists to pause, to breathe, and to think gently. If this quiet style of thought brings you calm, liking or subscribing helps this small channel reach others who might need a moment of stillness too. Now, let's begin. You stand in front of two doors. One door leads to freedom and the other leads to death. The room is silent except for your own breathing. The walls are smooth stone, cold to the touch. There are no markings, no hints, no symbols to guide you, only the two doors. In front of them stand two guards. One guard always tells the truth, the other always lies. You don't know which one is which, and you're only allowed to ask one question to one guard. The stakes could not be higher. Pick the wrong door and your journey ends. Pick the right door and you walk free. You know the solution cannot rely on guessing. You need certainty. But how do you find certainty when one of the two voices before you is guaranteed to deceive you? You take a closer look at the guards. They look almost identical. Their faces are calm and unreadable. They do not fidget. They do not blink any more than necessary. They simply wait. One will tell the truth. One will lie. But nothing in their posture or expression reveals who is who. You start thinking through your options. Your first instinct is to ask a direct question. Which door leads to freedom? But immediately, you see the problem. If you ask the truth teller, you get the right answer. If you ask the liar, you get the wrong answer. Since you don't know which one you're talking to, the answer becomes unreliable. A 50-50 guess is not good enough. You need a way to force the truth to reveal itself. You consider asking each guard a different question in hopes of catching the liar in a contradiction. But you're only allowed to ask one question total, not one per guard. That means you must craft a question so powerful and so precise that it works regardless of whom you ask. The challenge is not about knowing who lies. The challenge is about making the structure of your question do the work for you. You need the question to trap both truth and lies into giving a useful answer. You think about how each guard behaves. The truth teller always gives accurate information. The liar always gives false information. What happens if you ask a question about the other guard? You realize this creates a chain. The truth teller will truthfully describe what the liar would say. The liar will lie about what the truth teller would say. But in both cases, the end result might line up in a predictable way. You test the idea in your mind with a smaller example. If the truth teller knows the liar would point to the wrong door, the truth teller will truthfully tell you that. If the liar knows the truth teller would point to the correct door, the liar will lie and tell you the opposite. Either way, the answer you receive is the wrong door. And if you know the guard is pointing to the wrong door, all you have to do is pick the other door. The pattern becomes clear. Instead of asking which door is correct, you ask a question that exposes the guard's logic. A question that forces both guards to give the same type of answer. You form the question in your mind, and it feels solid. It doesn't rely on chance. It uses the guard's own rules against them. You prepare to speak. If I were to ask the other guard which door leads to freedom, what would they say? This question elegantly traps both guards in the same outcome. It doesn't matter whom you ask. To be certain, You walk through both scenarios in your head. First, imagine you are speaking to the truth teller. The truth teller knows the liar always lies. So the truth teller thinks, if you ask the liar which door leads to freedom, the liar would point to the wrong door. Since the truth teller does not lie, he tells you exactly that. He points to the wrong door because he is describing the liar's response. Second, imagine you are speaking to the liar. The liar knows the truth teller would point to the correct door, but the liar always lies. So instead of telling you that the truth teller would point to the correct door, the liar lies and tells you the opposite. Again, he points to the wrong door. In both cases, the answer you are given is the wrong door. Now you know the key. Simply choose the opposite door to find freedom. You take a breath and look at the guards again. The logic is sound. You are no longer guessing. You don't need to identify which one is honest. You don't need to trick them. The puzzle once seemed like it depended on knowing their identities, but in reality, it never required that. It only required you to structure a question that both possible behaviors would funnel into a predictable answer. You see now that many problems that appear impossible are only difficult because they are framed in a misleading way. The puzzle wants you to get stuck on the idea of truth and lies, but the real solution ignores both identities and focuses on structure. You step forward and choose one guard. You don't hesitate. It no longer matters if he lies or tells the truth. You ask, if I were to ask the other guard which door leads to freedom, what would they say? The guard looks at you for a moment, then points. His expression is neutral. He offers no further comment. You watch his finger. You know that the door he is pointing at is the wrong one. Without fear, you turn to the other door. The handle is cold but solid. You pull it open. Light pours in. In that moment, you understand why this puzzle is famous. It's not just about logic. It teaches you how to think. It shows you how to deal with unreliable information, conflicting voices, and limited options. It reminds you that when faced with uncertainty, you can step back and reorganize the situation instead of panicking. You didn't guess. You built a structure where deception could no longer hide. You didn't need to force honesty. You made honesty unavoidable. The puzzle also reveals something deeper about questions. A well-phrased question can be more powerful than any answer. Most people focus on answers, but the shape of the question determines the quality of the answer you receive. You crafted a question that exposed the structure of the world around you. You used logic to turn a disadvantage, uncertainty about which guard lies, into a strength. Even if everything around you seems unreliable, a single well-constructed question can cut through the confusion. You take one last look back at the guards and the doors. Nothing has changed about them, but everything has changed about how you see them. You walk forward into freedom, not because someone told you the way, but because you asked the right question. You stand at a small control room. The walls are bare except for a panel in front of you, with 3 identical light switches. Each switch is down in the off position. Somewhere beyond the closed door at the far end of the room sits another room with 3 light bulbs mounted on the ceiling. Each switch controls exactly one bulb. The problem is simple to state, but not simple to solve at first glance. You may flip the switches as much as you like, but you are only allowed to walk into the bulb room one time. Once you leave this control room and step through that door, you cannot return. You need to know which switch controls which bulb with absolute certainty. No guessing, no trial and error. You must rely on careful planning before you move. You look at the switches. They are unmarked and identical. The door to the bulb room is closed, so you cannot see inside. You do not know which bulb is on the left, which is in the middle, or which is on the right. You can only rely on what you will observe once you walk inside. Most people initially think to flip one switch on and leave the other two off. Then they enter the room, see which bulb is lit, and assign that switch to it. But that only identifies one of the three. There are two bulbs left, both off. You can't tell which of the remaining switches matches which. You need a way to use more than just light as a clue. You need another property that bulbs have, something you can detect with your senses. That is when you remember something important. Light bulbs produce heat when they are on. Even after they are turned off, they stay warm for a little while. This gives you a new approach. Instead of thinking only in terms of on or off, think in terms of temperature. A bulb can be in one of three states: on and glowing, off but still warm, or off and completely cool. That gives you three distinct outcomes, which is exactly what you need to match three switches to three bulbs. You study the switches again and start planning a sequence. You decide to turn on the first switch and leave it on for several minutes. This allows the bulb connected to it to heat up fully. While the first switch stays on, you leave the second and third switches off. After enough time passes, the bulb linked to the first switch will be very warm, maybe even too hot to touch. You then turn the first switch off. Immediately after, you turn the second switch on. Now the second bulb is powering on and starting to warm up. The third switch remains off the entire time. You wait just long enough for the second bulb to begin heating, but not as long as the first bulb was on. The moment feels right. You are ready. You have set up three distinct conditions. The first bulb was on for a long time and is now off but still warm. The second bulb is currently on and glowing. The third bulb has never been turned on and will remain completely cool. You walk toward the door. This is your one chance to step into the other room. You turn the handle and enter. The light bulb room is quiet. Three bulbs hang in a line. Only one is lit. That is your starting point. The glowing bulb must be controlled by the second switch, the one you left on. You walk toward the other two bulbs. You reach out and carefully touch the surface of the first unlit bulb. If it feels warm, even slightly, you know it was on before and belongs to the first switch. The remaining cool bulb must belong to the third switch, the one that stayed off. Just by using time and temperature, you solved the puzzle. You found a way to gather information using more than sight. You made the problem three-dimensional by introducing a new variable. The moment you formed the strategy, the puzzle no longer felt like guesswork. It became systematic. One switch creates light. One creates heat without light. One creates nothing. The logic is clean and reliable. You think back to the beginning when the problem felt limiting. Only one trip into the room, only one chance to observe. That restriction is what forced you to think creatively. If you had been able to go back and forth between rooms, the puzzle would have been too easy. You could have flipped switches and checked bulbs as many times as you liked. But real problem solving often takes place under constraints. Limits are not obstacles. They are the very thing that pushes you to find better methods. You imagine someone rushing through this puzzle, flipping switches without a plan, walking into the bulb room too early, and realizing too late that they missed their only opportunity. Rushing creates confusion. You did the opposite. You paused. You examined what the bulbs could tell you beyond simple on or off. You used an overlooked detail, heat, and turned it into the key that unlocked everything. You consider how this puzzle applies to more than light bulbs. In many situations, you have limited time or limited actions. You cannot always inspect things directly. You cannot always repeat your attempt. But when you slow down and understand the behavior of the system, you can find signals that others ignore. You can measure something indirectly and still reach a certain answer. Good logic does not rely on luck. You leave the bulb room behind you. The switches no longer feel mysterious. They are just controls with predictable outcomes. You matched each one without guessing. The puzzle teaches patience and observation. Everything you needed was always there. You just had to see it in the right order. The insight was not about flipping switches, but about unlocking the idea that heat carries information. The moment you realize that, the solution became obvious. You step away from the panel, and the challenge ends not with a dramatic moment, but with quiet clarity. You did not need to force anything or hope for the best. You followed a simple, deliberate sequence. One switch on for a long time. One switch on for a short time. One switch never touched. One trip into the room. One careful set of observations. 3 perfect matches. You stand in a long cellar with cold stone walls. Wooden racks hold 1,000 bottles of wine, identical in appearance. One is poisoned. You have 10 lab rats and 1 day to discover the bad bottle. At dawn, you must give the exact number. You cannot test 1 bottle at a time. You need 1 round of testing to produce perfect information. Each bottle is labeled from 1 to 1,000. The rats wait in small pens. You count them again. 10. That number matters. Each rat will either live or die. That gives you 10 independent yes or no results. 10 binary outcomes create up to 2 to the power of 10 combinations. That's 1,024. You only need to identify 1 bottle out of 1,000. The math fits. If each rat represents a binary digit, any bottle number can be encoded as a unique pattern across the rats. You assign each rat a value. Rat 1 is 1, rat 2 is 2, rat 3 is 4, rat 4 is 8, rat 5 is 16, rat 6 is 32, rat 7 is 64, rat 8 is 128, rat 9 is 256, rat 10 is 512. Any number from 1 to 1,023 can be formed by adding some combination of these values. A poisoned bottle will kill every rat that received a drop from it. When you add the values of the dead rats, the total will match the bottle number. You set out droppers and cups. For each bottle, you convert its label to binary. If the kth bit is 1, you add a drop from that bottle into rat K's cup. If the bit is 0, you skip that rat. Each rat drinks only from the bottles whose bits include its value. A single drop is enough. If the poison is present, that rat will die within the day. You test your plan with bottle 613. In binary, it is 1001010. That means bits 1, 3, 6, 7, and 10 are 1. So rats 1, 3, 6, 7, and 10 get drops. Their values are 1, 4, 82, 64, and 512. If 613 is poisoned, those rats die. Add them. 1 plus 4 plus 32 plus 64 plus 512 equals 613. The pattern points straight back to the label. The logic holds. You begin at bottle 1. binary 00000001, only rat 1. Bottle 2, binary 00000010, only rat 2. Bottle 3, binary 000011, rats 1 and 2. You settle into a rhythm. Check the label. Read the bits. Add a drop where needed. You write nothing else, only follow the rule. If bit equals 1, include. If bit equals 0, skip. You do not rush. Accuracy is more important than speed. Each rat now has a mixture built from all bottles linked to its binary value. If a bottle in that group is poisoned, that rat will die. When the day ends, the set of dead rats will form a binary number. Their values added together will reveal the poisoned bottle with certainty. You consider possible outcomes. If the poisoned bottle has a large label like 987, no issue. 987 is within 1024. Its binary pattern fits across the 10 rats. If several rats die, you add their values. If only one dies, the bottle's label is a single power of 2. If none die, then you made an error, because the poisoned bottle must have been sampled. The system itself remains correct. You check the animals. They are fed and calm. Each has only a small mixture. The poison is strong. It does not need more. You wait. Nothing more can be done. The test runs on its own. Evening arrives. You return to the pens. You examine each rat in order of their values. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512. For each dead rat, you record its value. You add them. The total is a single number between 1 and 1,000. That number is the poisoned bottle. You confirm with a final example to reassure yourself. Suppose rats 2, 5, 8, and 10 are dead. Their values are 2, 16, 128, and 512. Add them. 2 plus 16 plus 128 plus 512 equals 658. Bottle 658 must be the source. There is no guesswork. The result follows directly from the pattern. You reflect on the method. Each rat represents one binary digit. Each bottle number is encoded across those digits. Poison converts the bits of that number into reality. A dead rat signals a 1. A living rat signals a 0. Reading those bits rebuilds the bottle label. You converted 1,000 choices into 10 binary positions and let the poison do the decoding. The problem seemed impossible when you imagined testing bottle after bottle. But scale is not a problem when you design the right structure. 10 parallel tests are enough to isolate one bottle out of 1,000. You turn time and biology into a form of computation. You collect the rat's results, write the sum, and hand in the number. You are certain. The puzzle is solved. ... Time looks straight when you live it once. One moment leads to the next. Childhood becomes memory. Mistakes fade. You think in terms of before and after. Progress feels like climbing a ladder. You assume growth means leaving things behind. But when you enter a loop, that line bends. You wake up in the same place again and again. At first, it feels like being stuck in a circle. You think you're going nowhere, but then you notice something. The day repeats, but you don't. You change. Your understanding deepens. The events stay similar, but your perspective doesn't. That's when time stops looking like a line or even a circle. It becomes a spiral. In a loop, you face the same situation many times. The first time, you react with instinct. The next time, you react with awareness. After that, you start asking why it keeps happening. Eventually, you see meaning where there used to be noise. The situation didn't change. You did. That's the spiral. You pass through the same point again, but from a higher level of understanding. You see more each time. The loop isn't flat. It has depth. This spiral effect becomes clearest with emotions. A conversation that once annoyed me started to feel different over time. In early loops, I got defensive. Later, I got curious. Why was the person repeating the same complaint? I listened. I heard the fear beneath their words. The next loop, I changed my approach. The conversation softened. Same event, different emotional height. The loop wasn't trapping me, it was guiding me upward. Even pain followed the spiral. Some moments hurt every loop. I tried avoiding them. I tried forcing new outcomes. Nothing stuck. The hurt always found me. But after enough loops, the pain started to teach me. I saw the pattern in my reactions. I saw the belief underneath the pain. I realized I wasn't just suffering. I was being shown something about myself. The trauma didn't disappear, but my relationship to it changed. The pain stayed, but the understanding rose. That is the spiral at work. We often think progress means never facing the same problem twice. But in reality, real growth often comes from meeting the same challenge with a wiser mind. The loop shows this with brutal clarity. You can't skip levels of understanding. You can only rise through them. Time also spirals in how we learn about others. At first, people look simple. You label them quickly. Nice, rude, quiet, loud. But after many loops, patterns reveal layers. A rude person isn't just rude. They're tired, insecure, or protecting something. A quiet person isn't shy. They're observant. The more loops I lived, the more I realized I was wrong about people. Not because they changed, but because I saw them from new angles. Time gave me repeated access to the same moment until I finally understood its depth. The spiral also appears in decision-making. In the beginning, choices feel binary, right or wrong, yes or no. After countless loops, I saw the complexity. A choice isn't just about outcome, it's about intention, timing, context, emotion. The loop forced me to live with the consequences of each option, then reset and try again. Each attempt taught me a different layer of the same situation. I didn't get smarter in one leap. I spiraled upward through experience. One of the biggest realizations was that understanding doesn't erase mistakes, it transforms them. I made the same mistake many times in the loop, but each time, I understood more about why I made it. Eventually, I stopped judging myself and started learning from it. That shift turned shame into growth. In linear time, mistakes feel permanent. In looped time, they feel like stepping stones. The spiral reframes failure as part of the path, not the end of it. Time even spirals in identity. I didn't become a new person in one breakthrough moment. I became new piece by piece. In one loop, I practiced honesty. In another, patience. In another, vulnerability. Each loop added a layer. I wasn't looping back to the same self. I was returning to myself with more clarity. The past versions of me didn't disappear. They stacked beneath who I became, like rings in a tree. The spiral held them all. Even the concept of destiny started to shift. At first, I believed fate was fixed because events repeated. Later, I believed free will was absolute because I found ways to change outcomes. In the end, I realized both were true, depending on my level of awareness. When I was blind to myself, the loop felt like fate. When I grew, the loop responded. Fate was the lower circle. Free will was the higher spiral. Time didn't trap me. It waited for me to rise. The spiral also showed up in how I related to the loop itself. In early loops, I hated it. I wanted out. In the middle, I used it as a tool. Near the end, I understood it. The loop wasn't just a reset. It was a teacher. It didn't care about convenience. It cared about truth. It kept pulling me back, not because I was failing, but because I hadn't seen deeply enough. The day stopped repeating only when my understanding completed a full revolution and rose beyond it. The most surprising part was how much the spiral shape mirrors real life outside of loops. People revisit the same emotional lessons at different ages. A fear from childhood returns in adulthood in a different form. Love challenges you in new ways each time you experience it. You think you're going backward, but you're not. You're circling upward to deeper maturity. Growth often feels like returning to the same place, but mentally, you're standing higher. Time isn't just forward or backward. It's inward, it's upward, it's layered. The loop just makes that visible. Each repeat isn't a reset, it's a rotation. Each rotation reveals more of the truth. The day may look the same, but the person inside it becomes different. And that difference is what changes everything. Sort the walkers by speed from fastest to slowest. Call them A, B, C, and D, where A is fastest and D is slowest. The rule is simple. Use the two fastest as couriers and send the two slowest together. That keeps the flashlight moving with minimal waste and prevents the slowest walkers from dragging down multiple trips. The fixed sequence that achieves the best time in the standard four-person case is A and B cross, A returns, C and D cross, B returns, A and B cross. That order clears the bridge in 5 moves and keeps the slow pair together for a single long crossing. Walk it through with concrete numbers so you can see the timing. Suppose their times are 1, 2, 7, and 10 minutes for A, B, C, and D. First, A and B cross in 2. A comes back in 1, total 3. Next, C and D go together in 10, total 13. B returns in 2, total 15. Finally, A and B cross again in 2, total 17. No other plan beats 17 with those speeds. If you try to escort D with A twice, you add 2 return trips for A and end up slower. If you try to pair D with B and then C with A in separate legs, you still pay for 2 long crossings and more returns. The sequence above compresses the 2 slowest into 1 shared long leg and uses the 2 fastest to ferry the flashlight at the short legs. Here is the logic behind each step. Sending A and B first gets the flashlight to the far side fast. Having A return is cheaper than B returning because A is faster. Now the flashlight is back with C and D. You send C and D together so you only pay the slow cost once. After they reach the far side, you need the flashlight back on the near side to bring A across. And the cheapest way to do that is to have B, not C or D, run it back. That's why B returns next. The final trip is A and B together, which is again quick. This structure keeps the expensive crossings to exactly 1 when C and D go together. Every other crossing is short. You can test this idea by trying the alternatives. If you pair the slowest with the fastest twice, the steps look like this with the same numbers. A and D cross in 10, A returns in 1, A and C cross in 7, A returns in 1, A and B cross in 2. That totals 21. You paid for 2 slow crossings and 2 extra returns by A. If instead you try A and C, then A and D, you still pay for 2 long legs and wind up worse than 17. The winning plan avoids escorting the slowest twice. It ships both slow walkers together and uses the fast pair to handle the flashlight. You do not need the exact numbers to choose the order. The rule holds if you only know the ranking. Assign letters A, C, B, C, D by speed, and follow the same 5 moves every time. A plus B, A back, C plus D, B back, A plus B. That structure assumes a normal spread where A and B are reasonably faster than C and D. In those common cases, it is optimal. It also matches the hint to pair the slowest with the fastest in a strategic way. You are not walking D with A. You are pairing the slowest with each other and relying on the fastest to shuttle the light with minimal overhead. Think about why the light matters. The bottleneck is not just walking time, but who carries the flashlight back and forth. Since every return adds cost, you want returns done by a fast walker. The plan uses A for the first return and B for the second return. That choice is deliberate. After C and D cross, B is already on the far side and can bring the flashlight back faster than C or D could. That keeps the total low. The final crossing by A and B closes the sequence without any more returns. If you need another example, change the times to 1, 3, 4, and 8. Follow the same order. A and B cross in. Sort the walkers by speed from fastest to slowest. Call them A, B, C, and D, where A is fastest and D is slowest. The rule is simple. Use the 2 fastest as couriers and send the 2 slowest together. That keeps the flashlight moving with minimal waste and prevents the slowest walkers from dragging down multiple trips. The fixed sequence that achieves the best time in the standard 4-person case is A and B cross, A returns, C and D cross, B returns, A and B cross. That order clears the bridge in 5 moves and keeps the slow pair together for a single long crossing. Walk it through with concrete numbers so you can see the timing. Suppose their times are 1, 2, 7, and 10 minutes for A, B, C, and D. First, A and B cross in 2. Imagine the riverbanks as 2 safe zones, separated by a danger line. The man can row, and the boat fits only him and 1 passenger. The fox will eat the goose if left alone with it. The goose will eat the beans if left alone with them. The fox ignores the beans. The rule is simple. The man must never leave fox with goose or goose with beans without being there. Every move protects against one of those 2 danger pairs. The goose becomes the key piece because it's part of both dangerous pairs. So the goose gets moved more often than the fox or the beans. It acts like a fuse, safe when handled, explosive when left in the wrong place. The strategy looks slow at first because you shuttle back and forth, but every return avoids a disaster. Start by taking the goose across. Leave the fox and beans together. That pair is safe. Drop the goose and row back alone. Now you have used 2 crossings without any risk. Next, take the fox across. If you leave the fox with the goose, the fox will eat. So after dropping the fox on the far bank, you put the goose back in the boat and return with it. This move prevents the dangerous pairing. You have split up fox and goose and brought the spacer, the goose, back so you can create a safe setup on the next trip. Back on the starting bank, leave the goose and ferry the beans across. The fox and beans are safe together. Drop the beans, row back alone, and pick up the goose. Take the goose over 1 final time. Now all three are across. The full sequence is goose over, return alone, fox over, goose back, beans over, return alone, goose over. 4 trips forward and 3 returns. Every return maintains safety. The man always breaks up a bad pair before leaving. Check each stop. After the first trip, fox and beans are together, safe. After the second, goose is alone, safe. After dropping fox on the far side, taking goose back avoids fox eating goose. After bringing beans over, fox and beans wait together, safe. The last trip moves the goose to join them. The core rule holds. The only unattended pairs allowed are fox with beans or goose alone. The shuttle pattern is not wasteful. Every extra move prevents an illegal state. The goose travels most because it connects both danger edges. If goose ever sits with fox alone, failure. If goose ever sits with beans alone, failure. So you keep goose in motion or under supervision. That is why the goose goes first, why you swap it in the middle, and why it goes last. Goose is the piece you cannot ignore. Some people start by moving the fox. They take the fox across and row back. Now the goose and the beans sit together and the goose eats the beans. Others start with beans and end with fox eating the goose. Any plan that begins with fox or beans fails. The first move must remove the shared risk, the goose. Moving the goose separates both danger pairs at once. That is why the opening step is fixed. Think about why you bring the goose back after moving the fox. If he left the fox with the fox would eat. Bringing the goose back seems like extra work, but it keeps fox and goose apart while you set up the beans safely. Every return in the plan has a reason, either to remove the goose or to allow a safe pair to stay behind. When you drop the beans with the fox, that pairing is safe. So the return trip can be empty. You only travel light when you know nothing dangerous is left behind. You can view the problem as a simple rule system. At each bank state, ask, are fox and goose alone without the man? Are goose and beans alone without the man? If either is true, the state is illegal. You need the shortest legal sequence of moves from start to finish. Each forward trip must carry one item, so at least 3 forward trips are needed. But direct 3 trips fail because the goose needs to be repositioned in between. That forces return trips. The shortest legal plan has 7 crossings. Anything shorter will leave a bad pair together at some point. A memory trick helps. Goose out, swap. Beans over, goose home. Goose out means take goose first. Swap means take fox over and bring goose back. Beans over means take beans across and leave them with the fox. Goose home means bring goose on the final trip. The pattern is tight and reusable. You can even imagine the goose as a shuttle bus between 2 neighborhoods. The fox district and the bean district can sit side by side, but the goose can't stay in either without the driver. So the goose rides back and forth until it ends in a safe place. Test the structure with labels. Start, left bank, FGB. Move G to right, left has FB, safe. Return alone, right has G, safe. Move F and bring G back, right has F, left has GB, safe. Move B, right has FB, safe. Return alone, left has G, safe. Move G, right has F, G, B, finished. Each snapshot passes the safety test. The invariant holds. The only unattended pair is fox with beans, or goose alone. If the story changes, wolf, chicken, grain, the logic stays the same. Only the labels change. The shared element of both danger pairs, the goose or chicken, must travel first, swap in the middle, and travel last. If someone claims a faster method, ask them to list each state. At some point, they will leave fox with goose or goose with beans alone, and the plan fails. The 7-trip structure is forced by the constraint that the boat fits only one passenger and by the danger rules. Boat capacity matters. If the boat held 2 items, you could solve the problem faster by moving goose with beans or goose with fox while the man watches them. But the puzzle locks you into 1 passenger trips. That restriction forces the shuttle method. What looks like extra work is precision. Every trip either advances an item or protects against a bad pairing. Treat the problem like scheduling. You don't need strength, you need guard logic. Move the goose first to remove the shared risk from the starting side. Use a swap to separate the fox and goose while you relocate the beans. Use the safe pair, fox and beans, to allow empty returns. Bring the goose last to finish safely. When you understand the role of each return, the whole method becomes natural. The goose isn't cargo, it is control. Keep that in mind, and the puzzle solves itself. A puzzle like this works because it uses numbers in a way that sounds logical, but mixes totals that should not be added together. The situation is simple if you track where the money actually goes, but the riddle frames it in a misleading way to make you focus on the wrong comparison. The key is to stop thinking about $27 plus $2 and instead think in terms of the original $30 and how it gets broken apart. 3 friends go to a hotel and pay $30 for a room. At this point, the hotel has $30 and the friends have paid $30. So far, everything balances. Later, the clerk finds out the room should have cost only $25. That means the hotel has $5 too much. The manager tells the clerk to return $5 to the friends. Now the total held by the hotel should be $25, not $30. But the clerk keeps $2 for himself and hands each of the friends $1. That means the friends receive a total of $3 back. The clerk still owes them $2 more, but he is dishonest and keeps that $2. Let's track it carefully. The $30 the friends paid ends up split into 2 parts: $25 with the hotel, $2 with the clerk, and $3 returned to the friends. That adds up to $30. No dollar has disappeared. The confusion starts when the puzzle says, now each friend paid $9, so they paid a total of $27. The clerk kept $2, so 27 plus 2 equals 29. Where's the missing dollar? The problem is in how the equation is framed. The riddle adds the $2 to the $27 when it should not. The $27 already includes the $2 the clerk kept, so adding $2 again double counts it. Break down the $27 correctly. When the riddle says the friends each paid $9, that means the friends ended up paying $27 total. But what does that $27 represent? It represents the $25 that stayed with the hotel, plus the $2 that the clerk kept. That means $27 is already $25 plus $2. So when you then take that $27 and add $2 again, you are mixing categories. The $2 is not in addition to the $27, it is part of it. The right way to check the total is $25 hotel plus $2 clerk plus $3 returned equals $30. Everything is accounted for. The trick works because the puzzle suggests that the dollar sign is double counted for. The question is that where? 2 kept by the clerk is something you add to the $27 paid by the friends. But in reality, the $2 is included inside that $27. Think of it like this. Each friend paid $10 at first. They got $1 back. So yes, they ended up paying $9 each. That is $27. But that $27 isn't money that just sits untouched. It was split. $25 went to the hotel. $2 went to the clerk. So the correct breakdown of the $27 is $25 plus $2. Nothing else. You do not then add the $2 again. The puzzle's 27 plus 2 is intentionally misleading because it tries to add money paid to money taken as if they were separate categories. They are not. It might help to restate the events in simpler physical terms. Imagine laying out $30 bills. The friends hand over 30. The hotel takes 30, but should only keep 25. The clerk gets told to return 5. The clerk thinks, they won't notice if I keep 2. So he secretly pockets 2 and gives 3 back. So now the hotel has 25, the clerk has 2, the friends have gotten 3. 25 plus 2 plus 3 equals the original 30. It balances. The numbers never changed. There was no missing dollar. The only thing that changed was the way the riddle presents the math. The reason the riddle trips people is because we are used to seeing 27 plus 2 equals 29 and thinking, yes, 29, so something is missing. But the riddle wants you to add 2 things that should not be added. The $27 is money the friends ended up paying, but the $2 is part of the $27, not something separate from it. Instead of adding $2 to $27, you should subtract $2 from $27 to get to the $25 that the hotel actually kept. Or, if you want to add something to $27, you should add the $3 that was given back to the friends. Then 27 plus 3 equals 30. That's the correct equation. This puzzle plays with perspective and grouping of money. One way to think about it, the friends paid $27 in total. Where did that $27 go? $25 went to the hotel, $2 went to the clerk, so the $27 is already distributed. The $3 they got back does not get mixed into what they paid. It stands outside of the $27. If someone says, but they each paid $9, and the clerk kept 2, so where's the last dollar? You can respond, the clerk's 2 is inside the 27, not outside of it. If you really want to see how the riddle manipulates logic, put real numbers on each friend. Friend 1 pays 10, friend 2 pays 10, friend 3 pays 10, total 30. Now the clerk returns $1 to each friend. Friend 1 now has paid 9, friend 2 has paid 9, friend 3 has paid 9, total 27. The clerk has 2 in his pocket. The hotel has 25. But the riddle tries to make you think the clerk's 2 is separate from the 27. In truth, the 27 already includes that 2. That 27 is exactly 25 plus 2. There is no place where 27 and 2 stand as distinct totals. Another way to expose the trick is to change the amount. Suppose they paid $30 and the refund was $6. The clerk gives each friend $2 and keeps nothing. Everyone can see that 3 times $8 equals 24. The hotel kept $24. The math is fine. 24 plus 6 equals 30. No one gets confused because nothing misleading is added. Now imagine the clerk kept $1 and returned $5 total. Each friend gets about $1.66 back, but the numbers get uglier, so the puzzle often uses $1 refunds and $2 kept to make simple but deceptive math. The entire trick relies on the clear, simple 9 plus 9 plus 9 equals 27 and plus 2 equals 29, which distracts you from the correct structure, 25 plus 2 plus 3. The real question of the puzzle is, why does 27 plus 2 feel natural? Because the riddle guides you into thinking the $2 is something extra, like an additional cost on top of what the friends paid. But the $2 was part of what they paid. Instead of thinking, where is the missing dollar, you should ask, what does the $27 actually represent? Once you ask that, the confusion disappears. The $27 is the total amount still held by the hotel and the clerk. The $3 is the total returned. 27 plus 3 equals 30. It balances. Once you see it this way, the trick falls apart. The riddle tries to add a partial amount to a total amount. It takes one part of the $27, the clerk's $2, and pretends it's outside the $27. That's like saying, I have 10 apples in a basket. 2 of them are red. Let me add the 2 red apples to the 10 apples and call it 12. You wouldn't do that, yet the riddle pretends you can. That is the hidden manipulation. The heart of the puzzle is a misdirection of arithmetic. The $27 already includes the $2. You don't add the $2 to $27. You add the $3 back to $27 if you want the full $30. When framed that way, nothing is missing. The dollar was never gone. It was only disguised by flawed addition. The puzzle tricks the ear, not the math. Yes, switching is the better move. Switching raises your chance of winning the car from 1/3 to 2/3. The boost feels strange because after the host opens a door and shows a goat, only 2 doors remain. Many people assume the odds reset to 50-50, but they do not. The host's action is not random. He knows where the car is, and you'll never reveal it. That knowledge makes the unopened door you did not pick more likely to hide the car. Before the host acts, you pick one of 3 doors. The chance your door has the car is 1/3. The chance the car is behind one of the 2 other doors is 2/3. When the host opens one of those 2 doors and shows a goat, he does not remove probability in an even way. He removes a door he already knows is wrong. Your door still holds its 1/3 chance. The other 2 doors held 2/3 combined, and once one of them is shown to be a goat, the full 2/3 transfers to the remaining closed door. That is why switching doubles your odds. Lay it out with simple cases. Call the door you picked A. The others are B and C. The car is equally likely to be behind any of them. Case 1. Car is behind A. Host opens B or C. If you switch, you lose. Case 2. Car is behind B. Host must open C. If you switch, you win. Case 3. Car is behind C. Host must open B. If you switch, you win. Switching wins 2 times out of 3. Sticking wins only 1 time out of 3. Think of the host's reveal as filtering out losing doors from the other side. Before the reveal, the other 2 doors have a 2/3 chance to hide the car. The host uses his knowledge to eliminate a goat from that set and leaves the good door unopened. He is not helping you on purpose, but his behavior pushes the probability onto that one remaining door. If you still feel stuck, expand the game. Imagine 100 doors, 1 car, 99 goats. You pick door 1. Your chance of being right is 1 in 100. The chance the car is behind one of the other doors is 99 in 100. The host then opens 98 of those other doors, all goats. Only 1 door on the other side remains closed, door 73. The odds that your original pick was right are still 1 in 100. The odds that door 73 is right are 99 in 100. You would switch without hesitation. The 3-door version is just a smaller version of the same logic. Some people insist that once only 2 doors remain, the situation resets to even odds. That logic would hold if the host opened a random door. But the host's reveal is not random. He uses information and avoids the car. That makes the reveal meaningful. He is not showing you just any goat door. He is showing you a goat door chosen to avoid the car. That constraint shifts probability toward the unchosen closed door. If the host's behavior changed, the odds could change. The classic setup assumes the host always opens a goat door, never opens your door, and always gives you the option to switch. If the host sometimes opens the car, the game ends early and no switch is offered. If the host only offers the switch when your first pick is correct, switching becomes a losing strategy. If he only offers the switch when your first pick is wrong, switching wins 100% of the time. These are different games. Under the classic rules, switching always gives you a 2/3 chance. A helpful perspective is to see the game as a bet. Before any reveal, Betting on your chosen door has a 1/3 expected value. Betting on the other side, the set of 2 doors, has a 2/3 expected value. When the host reveals a goat from that other side, he compresses the entire 2/3 value onto 1 door. You get to switch your bet to the better side, now concentrated into a single option. If you need practical proof, play with cards. Lay down 3 face-down cards, 1 ace and 2 jokers. Pick one. Have someone who knows where the ace is flip over a joker from the other 2. Now ask yourself, should you switch to the one remaining face-down card? Track wins. Over many trials, switching will win about twice as often as sticking. The pattern becomes clear once you see results instead of relying on intuition. This puzzle sticks in people's minds because it pushes against our instinct that 2 choices means 50-50. But probability depends on information and rules, not on how many options you see. Here, the host's knowledge and restrictions guide his action. When he reveals a goat, he is giving you free information. Most of the time, 2 out of 3, you picked wrong in the beginning. In those cases, the host is forced to open the only goat door among the 2 doors you did not pick, leaving the car in the last unopened door. Switching lets you take advantage of your earlier mistake. Sticking leaves you stuck with that mistake. Human emotion might tempt you to stay with your first pick. People often avoid switching to dodge regret if switching loses. The puzzle is not about comfort. It is about probability. If you care about winning more often, you should switch. Over many games, switching wins far more often than sticking. A 1/3 chance does not become 50-50 just because one bad door is removed. The host's choice was never neutral. It was guided by knowledge, and that guidance loads the odds onto the unchosen door. So the logic is steady. Your first pick keeps its 1/3 chance. The other door holds the full 2/3 after the host reveals a goat. Switching lets you take that 2/3. That is why switching doubles your odds. Label the coins 1 through 12. Exactly 1 is fake. It may be heavier or lighter than a real coin. You have a balance scale and 3 weighings. The plan splits into 2 branches after the first weighing. If the first weighing balances, the fake sits among the coins you did not weigh. You then use known genuine coins as standards and finish in 2 more weighings. If the first weighing tips, the fake sits among the 6 coins on the pans. You then steer a short logic tree that pins down the odd coin and whether it is heavy or light. For the first weighing, place coins 1, 2, and 3 on the left pan and coins 4, 5, and 6 on the right pan. There are 2 possible outcomes. Either the scale balances or it tips. If the first weighing balances, coins 1 through 6 are genuine. The fake is among 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Use your second weighing to compare 7, 8, and 9 against 3 known genuine coins, say 1, 2, and 3. If this second weighing balances, then 7, 8, and 9 are also genuine, so the fake is among 10, 11, and 12. Your third weighing compares 10 against 11. If 10 equals 11, then 12 is the fake. Weigh 12 against a known good coin, for example, 1, only if you also need to state whether it is heavy or light. If 10 does not equal 11, the higher side holds a heavy fake, or the lower side holds a light fake. To decide which, compare either 10 or 11 to a known genuine coin. If 10 versus 1 balances, then 11 is the fake, and its direction came from the previous tilt. If 10 versus 1 does not balance, 10 is the fake, and the tilt shows heavy or light. You can do this inside the third weighing by choosing 10 versus 11 and then reading the direction. If the 10-11 weighing lifts one side, that coin is the fake, and its direction is exactly what you see. If the second weighing in this balanced first branch does not balance, then the fake sits among 7, 8, and 9, and the direction tells you if it is heavier or lighter. If 7, 8, 9 outweigh 1, 2, 3, the fake is a heavy coin among 7, 8, 9. If they are lighter, the fake is a light coin among 7, 8, 9. The third weighing compares 7 against 8. If they balance, 9 is the fake and its direction matches the second weighing. If they do not balance, the heavy side is the heavy fake, or the light side is the light fake, as already signaled by the second weighing. Now handle the other main branch. Suppose the first weighing does not balance. Without loss of generality, assume 1, 2, 3 on the left pan are heavier than 4, 5, 6 on the right pan. Then the fake is either a heavy coin among 1, 2, 3, or a light coin among 4, 5, 6. Coins 7 through 12 are genuine for sure, because the imbalance must come from a coin on the pans. You will use one more steering weighing to cut the suspects to 2 coins, and the final weighing to choose the odd one and its direction. For the second weighing in this case, weigh coins 1, 4, and 7 against coins 2, 5, and 8. Coins 7 and 8 are genuine ballast, so they do not affect which side seems heavy or light except to keep the pans balanced when the suspects are not present. There are 3 outcomes. If this second weighing balances, then the fake is either coin 3 heavy or coin 6 light. That is because all coins actually on the scale must be genuine under a balance. So 1 and 2 cannot be heavy, and 4 and 5 cannot be light. Only 3 and 6 remain viable. Use the third weighing to compare coin 3 with any known good coin, say coin 7. If 3 outweighs 7, coin 3 is the fake and is heavy. If 3 balances with 7, then coin 6 is the fake and is light. If the second weighing tilts left heavy, then the fake is either coin 1 heavy or coin 5 light. Why those 2? A heavy 1 on the left would pull that side down. A light 5 on the right would make the right side rise, which also reads as the left side heavy. Use the third weighing to compare coin 1 with coin 7. If 1 outweighs 7, then 1 is heavy and fake. If 1 balances with 7, then coin 5 is the fake and is light. If the second weighing tilts right heavy, then the fake is either coin 2 heavy or coin 4 light. Use the third weighing to compare coin 2 with coin 7. If 2 outweighs 7, 2 is heavy and fake. If 2 balances with 7, then coin 4 is the fake and is light. If your first weighing had tipped the other way with 1, 2, 3, lighter than 4, 5, 6, the same logic runs with roles swapped. In that mirror case, the suspect set is either a light coin among 1, 2, 3, or a heavy coin among 4, 5, 6. Repeat the second weighing as 1, 4, 7 against 2, 5, 8, and read the outcomes as the mirrored pairs. A left heavy result narrows to 4 heavy or 2 light. A right heavy result narrows to 5 heavy or 1 light. A balance narrows to 6 heavy or 3 light. The third weighing against a known genuine coin then identifies the odd one and whether it is heavy or light, using the same check that a heavy suspect will outweigh a genuine coin and a light suspect will be lighter. This plan uses 3 simple ideas. First, the first weighing splits the world. If it balances, your suspects are the 6 coins you did not weigh, and you now own 6 known good standards. If it tips, your suspects are the 6 coins you did weigh, and the untouched coins become standards. Second, in the tipped branch, you carry forward the direction from the first weighing, either left heavy or right heavy. That direction tells you whether the suspect on a given pan would have to be heavy or light to cause what you see. Third, the second weighing mixes 1 suspect from the first left group and 1 suspect from the first right group, and pads each side with genuine coins so that each possible fake produces a unique pattern: balance, left heavy, or right heavy. The third weighing then makes a clean comparison between a single suspect and a known good coin to finish. With this logic tree, you always find the odd coin, and whether it is heavy or light, in at most 3 weighings. You can time 15 minutes with a clean, repeatable sequence that uses the hourglasses as markers, not as standalone timers. Think in terms of events you can see. A glass empties, you flip it, and that flip creates a new remaining time. By stacking those visible events, you carve out a 15-minute span without guessing or counting. Start both the 7-minute and the 11-minute hourglasses at the same moment. Call that time 0. Watch the 7-minute glass first. When it empties at minute 7, flip the 7-minute glass right away. Do nothing to the 11-minute glass yet. Let both run. Now wait for the 11-minute glass to empty. That happens at minute 11. At that instant, the 7-minute glass has been running since minute 7, so it has run for 4 minutes and has 3 minutes of sand left before it would empty. The key move is to flip the 7-minute glass right when the 11-minute glass empties. Flipping a not yet empty hourglass turns its remaining time into a fresh remaining time equal to the other side's sand. A 7-minute glass with 3 minutes left, when flipped, becomes a 7-minute glass with 4 minutes left. That 4-minute stretch, added to the 11 minutes already elapsed, lands exactly on minute 15. When the 7-minute glass you just flipped at minute 11 empties, you have your 15 minutes. That's the entire method. Start both at 0. Flip the 7 at 7. Flip the 7 again at 11. Stop when that 7-minute glass empties at 15. You never need to flip the 11-minute glass again. The 11-minute glass serves one purpose: to tell you when minute 11 arrives, so you know exactly when to flip the 7-minute glass to create the final 4-minute segment. It helps to see the timeline as 3 blocks: 0 to 7, 7 to 11, and 11 to 15. The 0 to 7 block is marked by the 7-minute glass emptying the first time. The 7 to 11 block is 4 minutes, during which the 7-minute glass is running with 3 minutes remaining at the end of that block. The 11 to 15 block is created by flipping that same glass at 11, so those 3 remaining minutes convert into 4 minutes on the other side. A flip at the right moment converts time left to empty into time left to empty after turning, which is exactly 7 minus whatever was left a second ago. That flip is a controlled way to manufacture a 4-minute interval. Check the logic step by step to make sure nothing depends on guessing. At time 0, you have 2 full glasses running. At minute 7, you see a clear event. The 7-minute glass empties. You flip it, so it starts a fresh 7-minute run aimed at minute 14. At minute 11, you see a second clear event. The 11-minute glass empties. At that moment, the 7-minute glass has moved 4 minutes of sand since you flipped it at 7, which means 3 minutes of sand remain above. When you flip it at minute 11, you swap the 3-minute and 4-minute sides. Now the glass has 4 minutes to empty. Count from 11 to 15. When it empties, you have your target. Why this works comes down to controlled overlaps. The first overlap, from 7 to 11, is exactly 4 minutes. You did not measure 4 minutes directly. You saw the 11-minute glass end, while the 7-minute glass still had 3 minutes left. That leftover creates a complementary chunk. 7 to 3 equals 4 when flipped. The second overlap, from 11 to 15, is that 4-minute chunk turned into a countdown by the flip. The move is simple and reliable because it anchors on events you can observe without a clock. Empty points and flips. You can also frame it as resource accounting. Each hourglass is a 7-unit or 11-unit battery of sand. When one empties, You know a fixed amount of time has passed. When you flip one with some sand still in the upper bulb, you convert an unknown partial into a known complement. At minute 11, the 7-minute glass shows a residual of 3 minutes. Flipping converts that residual into its complement, 4 minutes. You then let that complement run out to build the last piece to reach 15. Run a quick what if to build confidence. Suppose you forget to flip the 7-minute glass at minute 11 and keep waiting. The 7-minute glass would empty at 14. You would be 1 minute short of 15, with no ready marker for a single minute unless you introduce another flip to create it. You would have to add extra steps. The prescribed flip at 11 avoids that and keeps the plan tight. It is the unique moment that transforms the remaining 3 into a useful 4. Try a dry run with simple props. Use 2 kitchen timers set to count down 7 and 11 minutes. Start both. When the 7-minute timer beeps, reset it to 7 and start it again. When the 11-minute timer beeps, reset the 7-minute timer one more time. When the 7-minute timer beeps after that, you have hit 15 minutes from the starting gun. You will see the same pattern: an early 7-minute marker, a mid-game 11-minute marker that triggers the key reset, and a final 7-minute beep 4 minutes later. If someone asks why you never flip the 11-minute glass again, point to its job. It provides the 11-minute marker. After that, it is no longer needed. Flipping it cannot help produce a clean 4-minute segment because only the 7-minute glass has a 7 that splits as 3 and 4 around the minute 11 moment. The 11-minute glass at minute 11 has 0 sand above and 11 below. Flipping it would only restart another 11-minute run, which does not carve a useful final slice. You can adapt the same idea to other targets that equal 7 plus a complement made from a mid-flip. For example, if you needed 18 minutes, you could push the sequence further by using later empties to create a 7 or 11-based complement. The general rule is to look for a moment when one glass's remaining sand becomes the complement you need once flipped. Here the target 15 splits as 11 plus 4, and 4 is the complement of the 3 left in the 7-minute glass at the 11-minute mark. Write the core moves on a sticky note if you want an easy memory aid. Start both. Flip the 7 at 7. Flip the 7 at 11. Stop when it empties at 15. Every action is tied to a visible event, and each event has only one response. There is no counting in your head, no partial guesses, and no drift. The overlaps do all the work, and the final empty of the 7-minute glass is your exact 15-minute mark. You meet 2 residents at a fork. One always tells the truth, the other always lies. One road leads to the village, the other does not. You don't know who is who, so any direct yes or no question risks giving you a useless answer. If you ask, does the left road lead to the village? The truthful one will say yes if it does, and the liar will say no if it does. The same answer means 2 different things depending on who you're talking to. You cannot rely on a single yes or no unless you design a question that forces both types of people to behave in a predictable way. The clean solution is to make truth and lies cancel each other out. Ask either one. If I asked the other person which road leads to the village, what would they say? Then take the opposite road. The power of this question is that it runs their logic through 2 layers. One layer is what the other person would say. The second layer is whether the person answering lies or tells the truth. Since one tells the truth and the other lies, the final result is always the wrong road. You then take the opposite. Test the method with a simple scenario. Suppose the left road leads to the village. Let person A be truthful and person B be a liar. You ask A, if I asked B, which road leads to the village, what would he say? B, being a liar, would say right. A, being truthful, reports that. You take the opposite and choose left, which is correct. Now swap roles. Suppose A is the liar and B is truthful. You ask A the same question. B would say left, because he tells the truth. A lies about that and says right. Again, you take the opposite and still choose left. It doesn't matter who you ask or who lies, truth teller or liar. You still get a consistent wrong answer, and flipping it gives you the correct road. This works because you're not trying to figure out who is honest. You're building a question that traps both types. The liar lies about the truthful person's answer. The truthful person truthfully reports the liar's false answer. Both paths produce the same statement, the wrong direction. Once you know the answer you hear is guaranteed to be wrong, the solution is to take the other road. Notice how this avoids the usual traps. If you ask, "Are you truthful?" the liar might say yes. The truthful person would also say yes. The answer tells you nothing. If you ask, "Does this road lead to the village?" the truthful one might say yes, and the liar might say no, even if the road is right. You're left guessing. Even asking both people the same question does not help, because you don't know which one to trust. The problem is not a lack of information. The problem is ambiguity in interpreting their answers. The strength of "what would the other say" is that it forces each person to simulate the other. This construction passes the information through two operations: the other person's behavior, truth or lie, and then the speaker's behavior, truth or lie. Because exactly one is truthful and one is lying, the final result is always a lie about the true road. You don't need to know who is who. The structure guarantees that what they tell you points away from the village. Think of lying as flipping the direction. Think of truth as keeping the direction. When you run the answer through two people in sequence, one flip or no flip, then another flip or no flip, you always end with one flip total, because only one of them is truthful. A single flip gives the wrong road every time. You now know exactly how to interpret the result. Reverse it. You might wonder what happens if the person refuses to answer or claims not to know what the other would say. The puzzle assumes the islanders always follow their nature. A truth teller must tell the truth about anything, including hypothetical statements. A liar must lie about anything, including what someone else would say. They can't break character. So the logic holds. To see how fragile other approaches are, imagine asking A, "Does the left road go to the village?" and B, "Does the left road go to the village?" If A says yes and B says no, you still don't know who to trust. If A says no and B says no, they could both be lying and telling the truth in different ways depending on the situation. You learn nothing. The structure of the question matters more than how many times you ask it. Once you understand the logic, the question becomes easy to remember. You don't need multiple steps or to trick each person separately. You don't even need to know their identities. The method scales to similar puzzles: guards, doors, roads, or anything with one liar and one truth teller. The general principle is to force the liar to lie about a lie and force the truthful person to tell the truth about a lie. In both cases, the result becomes predictable. You then invert it. When people first hear this question, it might sound complicated, but its strength lies in the symmetry. One person always inverts reality. The other preserves it. By asking about the other's statement, you combine those behaviors and get a reliable signal. That signal always points to the wrong road. The final step is simple: go the other way. So at the fork, stand in front of either person and ask. If I ask the other person which road leads to the village, what would they say? They will point. Ignore what they say and take the opposite road. That one leads to the village every time. Start with 1 grain on the first square and double on each next square. The amount on a given square follows a clean pattern. Square 1 has 1 grain. Square 2 has 2 grains. Square 3 has 4. Square 4 has 8. Then 16, 32, 64, and so on. Each step multiplies by 2. In math terms, the number on square n is 2 to the power of n minus 1. So the last square, square 64, holds 2 to the power of 63 grains. It helps to see why the exponent is n minus 1 and not n. The first square has 1 grain, which is 2 to the power of 0. The second has 2 grains, which is 2 to the power of 1. The third has 4, which is 2 to the power of 2. You can keep pairing square number minus 1 with the exponent and the pattern stays tight. By the time you reach square 64, you have raised 2 to the 63rd power. That value is exact. 9,223,372,036,854,788 grains on the last square alone. The riddle often comes with a second claim in the hint. The total rice on the whole board is 2 to the power of 64 minus 1. That is also true, but it answers a different question. The sum on all squares from 1 through 64 forms a geometric series. 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 8 plus 2 to the power of 63. The closed form for that sum is 2 to the power of 64 minus 1. If you want the amount on the last square only, you stop at 2 to the power of 63. If you want the total across the board, you use 2 to the power of 64 minus 1. Keeping these two numbers straight avoids a common mix-up. A short proof by pattern helps lock it in your head. Put a marker on any square k. Everything to the left of that square, squares 1 through k, adds up to 2 to the power of k minus 1. You can verify this on small cases. Up to square 1, total equals 1 equals 2 to the power of 1 minus 1 equals 1. Up to square 2, 1 plus 2 equals 3 equals 2 to the power of 2 minus 1. Up to square 3, 1 plus 2 plus 4 equals 7 equals 2 to the power of 3 minus 1. The rule holds as you move across the board. When you stand on the last square, k equals 64. The total is 2 to the power of 64 minus 1. The single square you stand on still follows the one less in the exponent rule, 2 to the power of 63. Now put these numbers in plain scale so they mean something. 2 to the power of 63 is about 9.22 times 10 to the 18th. That is 9 quintillion grains on the last square. If an average grain of rice weighs around 25 milligrams, 0.025 grams, then the last square by itself holds about 9.22 times 10 to the 18th times 0.025 grams of rice, which is roughly 2.3 times 10 to the 17th grams. In kilograms, that is about 2.3 times 10 to the 14th kilograms. The total across the whole board doubles that within 1 grain's worth. 2 to the power of 64 minus 1 grains is about 1.84 times 10 to the 19th grains. Multiply by the same grain weight and you get on the order of 4.6 times 10 to the 14th kilograms. The point is not the exact mass, but the scale. Doubling turns a modest start into a number that outgrows normal supply in far fewer steps than your intuition expects. A small table makes the growth feel real. At square 10, you have 2 to the power of 9 equals 512 grains. At square 20, you have 2 to the power of 19 equals 524,288 grains on that square. At square 30, you have 2 to the power of 29, approximately 536 million grains. Square 40 jumps to 2 to the power of 39, approximately 549 billion. Square 50 reaches 2 to the power of 49, approximately 562 trillion. Square 60 hits 2 to the power of 59, approximately 5.76 times 10 to the 17th. The last 4 squares then leap from an already huge base to numbers that dwarf the rest of the board. In fact, the last square alone holds more rice than the first 63 squares combined. That is a property of geometric doubling. The final term equals the sum of all earlier terms plus 1. You can build the same result by a simple doubling story. Place 1 grain on square 1. When you move to square 2, you add 1 more grain to reach 2. Move to square 3. Add 2 more to reach 4. Move to square 4. Add 4 more to reach 8. Each move doubles what was on the prior square by adding that same amount again. If you started with a single drop of water and doubled it each minute, you would flood a stadium much sooner than your gut predicts. The chessboard tale uses rice to make the same point. Early squares seem harmless. Late squares crush capacity. If you want a mental shortcut for the exact value on the last square, use powers of 2 landmarks. 2 to the power of 10 is about 10 to the power of 3, exactly 1024. Then 2 to the power of 60 approximately equals 2 to the power of 10 to the power of 6, approximately 10 to the power of 18. That gives a ballpark. 2 to the power of 63 approximately equals 8 times 10 to the power of 18. More precisely, 9.22 times 10 to the power of 18. This rough scale is often enough to show why the king in the story could not pay the promised rice. It also helps to separate 2 related but different questions you may hear. How many grains are on the final square? Answer: 2 to the power of 63. How many grains are on the board altogether? Answer: 2 to the power of 64 minus 1. In many tellings, the inventor asks for a grain for the first square and a doubling on each next square. The king agrees because the early sums look small. By the midpoint of the board, the total is already astronomical, and by the end, it is beyond any store of rice a kingdom could gather. The 2 to the power of 64 minus 1 in the hint is the total, and it explains the punchline. But the last square itself is 2 to the power of 63, and that single count already makes the lesson clear. If you want to express the last square count in words, it is 9 quintillion, 223 quadrillion, 372 trillion, 36 billion, 854 million, 775,808 grains. Saying it out loud is almost as hard as paying it. That is the practical message behind the math. Exponential growth outruns our sense of scale fast. The formula is short. The numbers are not. Treat the date as month M, 1 to 12, day D, legal for that month, and 2-digit year Y, 01 to 99. The birthday condition is simply M times D equals Y. From this, you don't need to guess. You only need 2 filters. The month must divide the year, M divided by Y. The resulting day D equals Y divided by M must be valid for that month. That's the entire puzzle. Every valid birthday comes from applying those checks. Start with structure, not brute force. For any year Y, list its divisors that are equal 12. Each such divisor is a possible month. Divide Y by that month to get the day. Keep the pair only if the day fits that month's limit, 31, 30, or 28 for February. 29 only if Y is leap year, which almost never aligns in this equation because 2 times 29 equals 58, and 58 is not a leap year. If both conditions pass, you have a valid date. This naturally explains patterns. January M equals 1 divides every year, but January only has 31 days, so O1Y, Y, only works when Y less than 31. After that, O1Y fails. Prime numbers less than or equal to 31, e.g. 17, 19, 23, 29, 31, produce exactly one valid date, O1Y, Y. But once a prime year exceeds 31, like 37, 41, 43, no valid date exists. Month 1 would require day greater than 31, and month year is illegal. Highly composite years give many birthdays because they have lots of divisors equals 12. For example, Y equals 24 has divisors 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12. Check days 24, 12, 8, 6, 4, 3, 2. All those days are valid in their months, so 24 produces 7 birthdays, 01, 24, 24, 02, 12, 24, 03, 8, 24, 04, 06, 24, 06, 04, 24, 08, 03, 24, 12, 02, 24. Compare a smaller year like 17. Divisors are 1 and 17. Month 17 is invalid, so only 01, 17, 17. Try Y equals 18. Divisors equals 12 are 1, 2, 3, 6, 9. Dates 01, 18, 18, 02, 19, 18, 03, 6, 18, 06, 3, 18, 09, 02, 18. All valid because the days are within month limits. Try Y equals 30. Divisors equals 12, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 10, 01, 30, 30, Jan 30, okay. 2, 15, 30, Feb 15, okay. 3, 10, 30, okay. 5, 6, 30, okay. 06, 5, 30, okay. 10, 3, 30, okay. 6 dates. Try Y equals 36. Divisors 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 12. Begin, invalid for Jan. So usable are 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 12, 02, 18, 36, 3, 12, 36, 04, 9, 36, 06, 6, 36, 09, 4, 36, 12, 30, 36. Symmetry stands out. If 312 works, often 1203 works too, unless one form hits a month-day limit. Month limits prune certain matches. Take Y equals 40. Divisors equals 12 equals 1, 2, 4, 5, 8, 10. January 40 fails, day greater than 31. But 02, 20, 04, 10, 05, 08, 08, 05. 10, 4 all work. 5 total. February is strict. M equals 2 means D must be Y over 2 and less than 28, so even years only, and day greater than 28. Example, Y equals 26, 02, 13, 26 is valid, but Y equals 58 gives 02, 29, 58, and 58 is not leap year style, so Feb 29 fails. Some more quick examples. Y equals 20. Divisors 1, 2, 4, 5, 10. 01, 20 fails. Day 20 okay actually. Jan 20 works. 02, 10. 04, 5. 05, 4. 10, 02. So 5 dates. Y equals 45. Divisors 1, 3, 5, 9, 01, 45, fails, 45 greater than 31, 03, 15, 05, 09, 09, 05, all valid. 3 dates, y equals 54, divisors 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 02, 27, okay, 03, 18, okay, 06, 9, okay, 09, 06, 4 dates, y equals 96, divisors 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, equals 01, 96 fails, 02, 48 fails, 48 greater than 28, 03, 32 fails, 32 greater than 31, 04, 24 okay, 06, 16 okay, 08, 12 okay, okay, 4 dates. That's the entire pattern. Valid birthdays equals all m, d, y, such that n times d equals y, 1 less than 1, 1, 12, and d is valid in that month. No need to memorize any list. Just factor the year, take divisors less than 12, convert to day, and check month limits. That single process generates every valid date. The fly travels 75 miles. You can find that in one short step. First, work out how long the trains take to collide. They start 100 miles apart. Each train moves at 50 miles per hour toward the other. Their closing speed is 100 miles per hour. Time to collision is distance divided by closing speed. 100 miles divided by 100 miles per hour equals 1 hour. The fly flies the whole time until the collision, at a steady 75 miles per hour. Distance equals speed times time. So the fly covers 75 miles per hour times 1 hour equals 75 miles. That is the answer. This shortcut works because the only thing that matters for the fly's total distance is how long the system lasts. The fly never stops before the trains meet. The moment the trains collide, the fly must stop. The speed of the fly is constant, so the total distance is just its speed times that single block of time. You do not need to track each turn the fly makes. You do not need to add up many small legs. You do not need calculus. You need the time to collision and the fly's speed. That is enough. Many people try to add up each leg of the fly's trip. The fly starts on the front of one train. It flies toward the other train. It reaches it, turns around at once, and flies back. It keeps doing that back and forth as the trains draw closer. Each leg is shorter than the last. The total looks like a long sum of shrinking pieces. If you write the exact distances of each back and forth leg, you get a neat geometric series. The terms shrink by a fixed ratio because after each pass, the trains have less distance between them. Add all those terms and you still get 75 miles. That long route to the answer teaches the same point. The series of legs collapses to the same product of speed and total time. Let's sketch the series idea so you can see why the shortcut is safe. Place train A on the left and train B on the right. Distance between them is 100 miles. The fly starts on train A. Train A moves right at 50 miles per hour. Train B moves left at 50 miles per hour. The fly moves at 75 miles per hour relative to the ground. The first leg runs from train A to train B. The fly and train B approach each other at a relative speed of 75 plus 50 equals 125 miles per hour. Time for the first leg is distance over relative speed. 100 divided by 125 hours, which is 0.8 hours. In that time, the fly travels 75 times 0.8 equals 60 miles. The trains also moved during that same 0.8 hours. Each train covered 50 times 0.8 equals 40 miles. The gap shrank from 100 to 20 miles. The second leg runs from train B back to train A. Now the fly's relative speed toward train A is again 75 plus 50 equals 125 miles per hour, but the gap is down to 20 miles. Time for that leg is 20 divided by 125 hours, or 0.16 hours. The fly covers 75 times 0.16 equals 12 miles on that leg. The gap drops again. After both trains move during that 0.16 hours, the remaining gap shrinks by 2 times 50 times 0.16 equals 16 miles, from 20 to 4 miles. The third leg starts with only 4 miles between the trains. Its time is 4 divided by 125 hours. The fly's distance is 75 times 4 divided by 125 equals 2.4 miles. The gap then drops by 16 times 4 divided by 20, or more cleanly, another factor of 5, from 4 to 0.8 miles. You can see the pattern. Each new gap is 1/5 of the prior gap, because during each leg, the trains close 80% of the gap while the fly crosses it. So the leg distances for the fly form the sequence 60, 12, 2.4, 0.48, and so on. Each term is 1/5 of the one before. Add that geometric series. Sum is 60 plus 12 plus 2.4 plus 0.48 plus prayer, with ratio r equals 1/5. The sum of a geometric series with first term a and ratio r plus 1, is a divided by 1 minus. Here a equals 60 and r equals 1/5. Sum is 60 divided by 1 minus 1/5 equals 60 divided by 4/5 equals 60 times 5/4 equals 75 miles. The series and the shortcut agree. Why choose the shortcut in the first place? Because the time to collision is easy to get. Add the train speeds to get the closing speed. Divide the initial distance by that speed. That gives the duration of the motion for all objects involved. Any object that moves the whole time with a fixed speed must cover speed times time. The fly fits that description. The series method is a good check and a lesson in convergence, but it is more work than you need. You can test the method by changing numbers. Suppose the trains are 120 miles apart, each at 40 miles per hour. The closing speed is 80 miles per hour. Time to collision is 120 divided by 80 equals 1.5 hours. If the fly still flies at 75 miles per hour, the distance is 75 times 1.5 equals 112.5 miles. If the fly flew slower, say 30 miles per hour, the distance would be 30 times 1.5 equals 45 miles. The structure holds. Only the product of the fly's speed and the time until impact matters. You can also swap roles. Imagine only one train moving at 100 miles per hour toward a wall 100 miles away. The time to impact is still 1 hour. A fly that keeps moving at 75 miles per hour during that hour covers 75 miles. The presence of 2 trains or 1 train and a wall changes the picture, but not the timing. The same logic would hold if 3 objects move toward a point and 1 small object bounces between them, as long as that object keeps moving at a steady speed until the stopping event. Its total distance is the product of its speed and the total time. Some people worry that the fly turns around many times and that turns take time. In the classic puzzle, the fly turns instantly. If turning took time, you would need more detail about each turn, and the neat answer would change. But the standard setup uses instant turns, steady speeds, and straight lines. Under those rules, the shortcut gives the exact distance, so the full reasoning fits in one clean line. Time to collision is 1 hour. The fly moves at 75 miles per hour for that hour. Distance equals speed times time. The fly travels 75 miles. A man lives on the 10th floor of an apartment building. Each morning he gets into the elevator, presses G, and rides to the ground floor without any trouble. In the evening, he returns and steps into the same elevator. He does not go straight home. He rides to the 7th floor, steps out, and walks the last 3 flights of stairs to the 10th. On rainy days, or when he carries packages, he rides all the way up to the 10th floor without the extra walk. The pattern looks odd until you add one missing fact. He is short. He cannot reach the 10 button. On dry days, with empty hands, the highest button within reach is 7. So he rides to 7 and climbs the rest. When it rains, he holds an umbrella. The umbrella lets him reach and press 10. When his arms are full of bags, he can use a knuckle or a long package to press 10. The puzzle hides this simple limit in plain sight and lets your mind chase false causes like a faulty elevator or a quirky rule by the building. The truth is physical, not mechanical or social. The pattern makes sense if you picture a standard elevator panel. Many panels place the numbers in columns, ground at the bottom, then 1 through 10 rising in rows. A child or a short adult can press the lower numbers but may strain to reach the top row. Try to reach a button 2 rows above your natural reach and you will see the issue. Unless you bring a tool, you cannot press it. The man does not have a tool most days. He uses what he does have on rainy days, an umbrella. With the umbrella tip, he can touch the 10 button. The effect looks like a weather rule from the outside, but the cause is leverage. You can test the idea with small adjustments. Suppose the man lives on the 12th floor. On dry days, he might ride to the 8th or 9th, wherever his reach stops, and walk the rest. On rainy days, he reaches 12 with the umbrella and rides the full way. If the building replaces the panel with one that lists numbers in a vertical strip near the door, the reach distance changes. He might manage 9, but not 10. The behavior adjusts, but the cause stays the same. He rides to the highest button he can reach and walks the rest. Many people guess the elevator has a policy such as express to 7 after 5 p.m. or stop service at 7 due to maintenance. But those rules would affect everyone. Other residents would complain. The man's pattern is personal and consistent with a personal limitation. The rain link tempts a wrong path. You observe rain and rides to 10 on the same days, and your brain wants to tie them with a rule about rain. The story invites that leap on purpose. It trains you to ask, does the rain change the elevator, or does it change the rider? The umbrella changes his reach. That is the only change that matters. Think about why he never has this problem on the way down. He can always press G. The ground button sits at the bottom of the panel. It is the easiest one to press for a short person. He does not need a tool. He does not need a neighbor. He steps in, presses G, and the doors close. The building design solves the morning trip without effort. Now imagine we remove the umbrella from the story, but keep the rain clue. You might still work it out. Rain implies gear, umbrella, raincoat, or bags inside plastic covers. Any of those can extend reach. A folded newspaper can press a high button. A key can reach if you lean. But the umbrella makes the picture neat and memorable. A simple stick with a hook becomes the man's tool. He solves a daily design gap with a common object. If you want a short thought experiment, keep the same man and move him to a fancy elevator with a voice panel. He says 10, and the elevator takes him there every time. The paradox ends. The problem was never about rules or luck. It was about interface and access. The voice panel removes the need to reach. Technology solves a human factor issue that a simple button panel created. The puzzle also shows how small design choices shape behavior. Panel height, button layout, and door placement affect who can use what. A panel built with universal design in mind would put all floor controls within reach of someone in a wheelchair or a child. The man would press 10 without help. Many buildings now add a second, lower panel or add a stick near the panel for reach. These details look minor, but to the person who needs them, they remove friction every day. You can also see how the story hides the key data point in noise. We hear many details we do not need: the time of day, the building size, the weather. We do not hear the one detail that explains everything until the end. This is common in daily work. We focus on a symptom and ignore an obvious cause because it feels dull or too simple. The fix is to check the physical world first. Ask, can the person reach the control before you write a long memo about policy and training? Take a second to trace the steps as the man returns home on a dry day. He enters the lobby, walks to the elevator, and steps in. He faces the panel, lifts a hand, and sees that his fingers line up with 7. He presses 7. The doors close. The elevator stops at 7. He steps out and climbs 3 flights. On a rainy day, he comes in with the umbrella still in his hand. He enters the elevator, holds the umbrella tip up to the panel, presses 10, and rides in comfort to his floor. His neighbors see the same man in the same elevator behave in 2 different ways. They might form a story about mood or luck. The cause is right there in his hand. If you need one more check, imagine the man with a tall friend. On a dry day, the friend reaches 10 and presses it. They ride up together. The pattern changes again, not because of a rule, but because reach changed. This cross-check keeps the logic clean. The driver is reach. The rain is only a proxy for reach because rain implies umbrella. The elevator paradox is not a paradox at all once you replace guesswork with a physical constraint. The man is short. He can press G and 7, but not 10. He rides to the highest floor he can select, then walks. When rain puts an umbrella in his hand, that tool extends his reach, so he presses 10 and rides all the way. The visible rule, only up to 7 unless it rains, masks the real rule, up to the highest button he can reach. The hint you need is hidden in the simple picture of a person standing at a tall panel, fingers just shy of the top row, waiting for a tool to bridge a small gap.
You have 3 boxes. One contains only gold, one contains only silver, one contains both gold and silver mixed. Each box has a label: gold, silver, and gold and silver. You are told every label is wrong. That means the gold box does not have only gold. The silver box does not have only silver. The gold and silver box does not have both metals. You may open only one box and take out only one item to inspect. From that single draw, you must identify all 3 boxes correctly. It sounds restrictive, but the fact that all labels are wrong gives you a powerful starting point. You know every label lies, so you can use elimination to trace the truth. The clean strategy is to start with the box labeled gold and silver. That label claims it contains both metals. But since every label is wrong, this box cannot be mixed. It must contain either all gold or all silver. That narrows it to 2 options. Open it and draw one item. What you pull out tells you exactly what that entire box contains. Suppose you open the gold and silver labeled box and pull out gold. That means this box is the pure gold box. It cannot be the mixed box because the mixed box contains both metals, and we just proved this one contains only gold. Now you know which box is gold. The other 2 boxes are labeled gold and silver, but both labels are wrong. The box labeled gold cannot be gold and cannot be mixed because the mixed box has not yet been identified, but it must be one of these 2. Let's reason it clearly. We already found the real gold box in the gold and silver labeled box. The gold labeled box cannot contain only gold, so it must contain only silver or both. But if it contained both, that would steal the identity of the mixed box. So the gold labeled box must contain only silver. The last box, labeled silver, must be the mixed box. You have identified all 3 with one draw. Flip the scenario. Open the box labeled gold and silver and pull out silver. That means this is the pure silver box. It cannot be mixed because we confirmed it holds only silver. Now you know the gold and silver labeled box is actually the silver box. The other two boxes are labeled gold and silver, and we already know the actual silver box is mislabeled gold and silver, so the box labeled silver cannot contain only silver. It must be either gold or mixed. But if it contained only gold, that would give us the gold box. Let's examine the consequences. The remaining box is labeled gold. That label is wrong, so that box cannot be the gold box. Therefore, the box labeled silver cannot contain only gold. It must be the mixed box, and the last box, labeled gold, must be the gold box. Again, one draw tells you everything. The reason this works so reliably is because starting with the gold and silver labeled box gives you a box you know for sure is not mixed. If you started with the box labeled gold or silver, you would not know if the box you opened was pure or mixed, because those boxes could be the mixed one. But the box labeled gold and silver cannot be the mixed one, since every label lies. That is the key. By drawing from a box that is guaranteed to be one of the pure boxes, you eliminate uncertainty and let the item you pull define the box with perfect clarity. You do not need to draw more than one item. If the box contains only gold, the first draw will show gold. If it contains only silver, the first draw will show silver. In either case, one draw confirms the identity of that box. Once you lock that in, the wrong labels on the remaining boxes become clues instead of confusion. You use simple elimination. The box that cannot be what its label says must be whichever option is still open. It helps to walk through a variant to see why this logic is airtight. Imagine the three boxes as G, gold only, S, silver only, and M, mixed. The labels are LG, LS, and LM, but each one is wrong. LG cannot sit on G, LS cannot sit on S, LM cannot sit on M. So LM must be on either G or S. That box is safe to test because it is guaranteed pure. The draw removes all ambiguity, so the solution is simple but structured. Start with the box labeled gold and silver because it cannot contain both. Open it, draw one item. If you pull gold, that box is the gold-only box. If you pull silver, it is the silver-only box. Then use the fact that the other labels are wrong to assign the remaining two. One draw is enough to solve the entire puzzle.
You have 2 ropes. Each takes exactly 1 hour to burn from end to end, but they do not burn at a steady rate along their length. One half could take 50 minutes and the rest 10 minutes, or the middle could burn fast and the ends slow. You cannot assume any portion of a rope marks a proportional amount of time. The only guarantees are a rope burns out in 60 minutes if lit at one end, and flame meeting itself from both ends makes the remaining rope disappear in half the remaining time, because the fire eats the last unburned section from 2 directions. Use those facts to build a 45-minute timer with a precise sequence. Light rope A at both ends and rope B at one end at the same moment. Start counting now. Rope A burns twice as fast in terms of time because its flame approaches the remaining fuel from both sides. No matter how uneven the rope is, when you light both ends at once, it will finish in 30 minutes. The flame speed may vary along the rope, but you are attacking every slow stretch from both sides. There is no slow segment that can delay the finish past 30 minutes. Rope B, lit at only one end, has been burning during those same 30 minutes, but since its burn rate is irregular, you do not know how much of its length is gone. What you do know is the amount of time left if it continued with only one flame. Exactly 30 minutes remain, because the whole rope is a 1-hour timer and you have consumed 30 minutes of burn time. At the moment rope A goes out, call that time mark 30 minutes. Immediately light the free end of rope B. Rope B now burns from both ends for the first time. How long does that take? It takes exactly half of the remaining time because 2 flames will consume the rest from both sides. You had 30 minutes of one end burned left. Lighting the other end doubles the rate at which the remaining fuel is attacked. The remainder now finishes in 15 minutes. Add the first 30 minutes to these 15 minutes and you get 45 minutes. When rope B goes out, 45 minutes have elapsed since you started. That is the whole solution. The key moves are simultaneous starts and a mid-course change in how you burn rope B. The first rope, burning from both ends, gives you a clean, reliable 30-minute marker independent of any unevenness. You use that marker to know exactly when to flip rope B from one end burn to 2-end burn. The flip compresses the final 30 minutes into 15 minutes, which produces the exact 45-minute interval you need. It helps to walk through why unevenness does not break this plan. Suppose rope B burned very fast for the first 10 minutes, then very slow after that. You still do not care. You are not measuring length, you are measuring time. At the 30-minute mark, regardless of how much physical rope remains, the time remaining for a one-end burn is 30 minutes. Lighting the other end at that instant forces the 2 flames to march toward each other until they meet. The only section that matters now is the unburned middle, and it is being eaten from 2 sides. If a stretch is thick and slow, one flame might pause there while the other flame arrives from the far side to finish it off. 2 flames guarantee completion in half the remaining time. Consider a different uneven pattern to test the logic. Imagine rope A has a very thick middle and thin ends. Lighting both ends at start still finishes rope A in 30 minutes because even if each end reaches the thick middle at different times, one flame or the other is always chewing away at that middle. There is no way to extend past 30 minutes because both ends started at time 0. Now apply the same idea to rope B after the flip. Whatever odd profile is left at the 30-minute mark, you light both ends of it. Again, 2 flames guarantee that no slowdown can exceed the half time bound. That is why the trick is robust. If you like a compact checklist, think of it like this. Step 1. At t equals 0, ignite rope A on both ends and rope B on one end. Step 2. At t equals 30 minutes, when rope A finishes, ignite the other end of rope B. Step 3. At t equals 45 minutes, when rope B finishes, stop. Each step triggers on a visible event, the end of a rope. You never need to guess, count segments, or trust a steady burn rate. People often ask why you cannot just measure 30 minutes by folding a rope in half. Folding does not help because the rope does not represent time uniformly. Any mark you make along the rope has no time meaning unless you manage the number of burning ends. The only safe operations are starting a burn, stopping a burn, and doubling the effective burn rate by lighting the other end. You can also adapt the method when you need other targets. For example, if you needed 15 minutes only, you could light one rope at both ends and wait for it to burn down to its halfway moment in time. Except you cannot see halfway on a single rope due to unevenness. But if you light rope A on both ends and rope B on one end as before, when rope A finishes at 30 minutes, you light the other end of rope B. The next 15 minutes are clean and visible. The same trick, use one rope to create a known time marker and then change the burn topology on the other rope, gives many useful intervals. The main insight stays simple. You cannot trust distance on an uneven rope. You can trust the effect of lighting both ends. Use one rope to get a precise 30-minute bell. Use that bell to convert the remaining 30 minutes on the other rope into 15 minutes by lighting its other end. The result is a tight and reliable 45-minute measurement using nothing but 2 ropes and matches. Picture the 9 dots as a 3x3 grid with even spacing. Your constraint is 4 straight, continuous strokes without lifting your pen. The trap is the mental box you draw around the outer dots. If you try to stay inside that imaginary square, 4 lines will never hit all 9 dots. The solution is literal. Extend your lines beyond the square so a single stroke can pass through 3 dots and keep going to set up the next stroke. You're not required to stop at the border of the dots. You're only required to keep the pen down and draw straight segments. Set up a clear mental coordinate system so the moves are easy to follow. Think of the bottom row as the bottom dots, the middle row as the middle dots, and the top row as the top dots. Likewise, left, middle, right columns. You'll use 4 segments that each pass through multiple dots and deliberately run a little past the outer dots to reach the start of the next segment. The extra reach creates the geometry you need to finish within 4 strokes. Start by committing to the rule that each time you reach an outer dot, you won't stop. You'll continue past it by roughly 1 dot spacing. That overrun is what breaks the mental box. You'll also favor diagonals that cross 2 dots in a row. With those 2 ideas, the path becomes natural. 1 long pass through a full row, 1 long pass through a full row the other way, and 2 diagonals that clean up the remaining dots. Begin at the lower left corner dot and aim straight right. Draw your first line through the entire bottom row, bottom left, bottom middle, bottom right, and keep going about 1 dot spacing past the bottom right dot. Don't lift your pen. That extension to the right is important. You have now covered the bottom row and placed your pen in open space to the right of the grid, which gives you a clear angle for a diagonal back through the grid. Without stopping, pivot your direction and draw your second line diagonally up and to the left. Aim so that the stroke passes cleanly through the middle right dot and then through the top middle dot, and continue that same line 1 dot spacing beyond the top left dot. Again, don't stop at the dot, pass it. That single diagonal has now added 2 more dots while placing your pen in open space above the top left corner. You've hit the bottom row, the middle right, and the top middle, and you are now outside the grid to set up your 3rd stroke. From this position above the top left, change direction and draw your 3rd line straight down along the left side so that it runs through the top left dot and the middle left dot and continues down past the bottom left dot by about 1 dot spacing. That vertical pass cleans up the entire left column and again moves your pen outside the grid, this time below the bottom left corner, so you can aim a final diagonal through the 2 dots you haven't yet touched. For the 4th line, draw a diagonal up and to the right that passes through the center dot and then through the top right dot, and let it end in open space beyond the grid. When you finish this stroke, all 9 dots have been crossed at least once, and you've done it in 4 straight, continuous segments without lifting your pen. The critical moments were the 3 deliberate overruns past the border, to the right after the bottom row, above the top left corner after the first diagonal, and below the bottom left corner after the vertical. Those extra reaches are what make the final diagonal possible while keeping the count at 4. If you try this path on paper, the pattern feels almost like drawing a stretched Z with an extra leg. The first stroke sweeps the bottom row. The second stroke slices diagonally up left through the right side and the top middle. The third stroke drops down the left column. The fourth stroke cuts diagonally up right through the center and finishes at the top right corner. The visual rhythm is 3 passes that each gather multiple dots and a last pass that finishes the holdouts. What makes it legal is that you never lift your pen, and what makes it possible is that you refuse to stop at the imaginary box. If you run into trouble matching the angles, focus on the invariant. Each stroke must go through at least 2 dots, and the path must extend a bit past the outer dots so the next line can enter the grid with a fresh angle. The exact distances of the overruns are not important. The straightness of each segment is. A small overrun about the spacing between dots is enough. If a diagonal misses a dot, adjust the angle slightly so it passes through the pair you want. The grid symmetry helps. Diagonals at 45 degrees often pass cleanly through 2 dots in adjacent rows and columns. This technique generalizes. Anytime a puzzle says connect these points with N lines without lifting your pen, check whether you've imposed an unnecessary boundary. If you keep your strokes strictly inside a frame, you may force yourself to need more lines than the puzzle allows. By allowing your lines to extend beyond the frame, you change the angles you can enter with on the next stroke, which often reduces the count by 1. The 9 dots are a classic because they're so simple that our brains draw the box automatically. The fix is to draw outside it, literally, and let the geometry do the rest. The goal is to find the highest floor from which an egg will not break while using at most 2 eggs and the fewest drops in the worst case. If you drop the first egg in big jumps and it breaks late, you risk having to check many floors, one by one, with only the second egg left. If you drop the first egg in small jumps, you waste drops when the threshold is high. The sweet spot uses a decreasing step pattern so that whether the first egg breaks early or late, the total number of drops never exceeds the same cap. Pick a number T and make your first drop at floor T. If the egg survives, move up by T-1 floors and drop again. If it survives again, move up by T-2 floors, and so on, reducing the step by 1 each time. The moment the first egg breaks, you switch to the second egg and check floors 1 by 1 upward from the last safe floor. Because you reduce the step by 1 each time, the number of floors you may still need to check after a break never exceeds the number of drops you have left before reaching T. That symmetry keeps the worst case bounded by T. You want the smallest T such that the sum of those decreasing steps covers at least 100 floors. The coverage of T plus T-1 plus T-2 plus N plus 1 equals T plus 1 over 2, the T triangular number. Solve T plus 1 over 2 equals 100. For T equals 13, the sum is 91, not enough. For T equals 14, the sum is 105, which covers all 100 floors. So 14 is the smallest T that guarantees full coverage. That means you can always find the threshold in at most 14 drops, no matter where it lies. It also means no strategy can guarantee fewer than 14 in the worst case, because any plan with 13 or fewer worst-case drops would cover at most 91 floors after the first egg breaks and linear checks begin. With 100 floors, that coverage is not enough. Turn it into a concrete plan. Start at floor 14. If the egg survives, go to 27, add 13. If it survives, go to 39, add 12. Then 50, add 11. 60, add 10. 69, add 9. 77, add 8. 84, add 7. 90, add 6. 95, add 5. 99, add 4. And finally 100. Then 102 and beyond are theoretical. but the building ends at 100. You will not need more than 14 total drops, even in the worst path through these checks. See how the safety net works by walking a few scenarios. Suppose the first egg breaks on the very first drop at 14. You know the threshold lies between 1 and 13. You now use the second egg to test floors 1, 2, 3, up to 13 if needed. In the worst case, that is 13 more drops. The total would be 14, which matches the cap. Suppose the first egg survives at 14 and breaks at 27. The threshold lies between 15 and 26. You already used 2 drops. Now walk the second egg up from 15. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26 as needed. At worst, you use 12 more drops because the step you took from 14 to 27 was 13, so the at most remainder is 12. The total is still 14. Suppose the first egg survives at 14, 27, and 39, and breaks at 50. The interval is 40 to 49. You have used 3 drops, and the last step you took was 11 floors, so the worst remaining linear checks number 10. 10 plus 3 equals 13 if it breaks just below 50, but include the breaking drop at 50, and the worst total still cannot exceed 14. The same logic repeats at each stage. After a step of size k, the most you will ever need with the second egg is k-1, and you had exactly k-1 future first egg drops available before you reached the notional top of the triangular ladder. That bookkeeping is why the bound holds tight. If the threshold sits very high, the first egg might survive all the way to 99 or 100. In that case, you have used many drops already. But when it finally breaks, you have only a few floors left to test with the second egg. At 99, the last step was 4, so you need at most 3 linear checks. At 100, the last step was 1, so the break identifies the exact threshold with no further work. Either way, the count stays within 14. It is useful to contrast this with 2 simpler but weaker tactics. The naive linear approach, start at 1 and go up by 1, uses at most 100 drops and wastes the second egg. The course-to-fine halving approach, drop at 50, then 75 or 25, and so on, works only when you have many eggs because each break reduces your stock and forces you to retest large spans one by one with the last egg. With 2 eggs, binary search no longer gives a tight worst-case bound. The triangular method is the right compromise because it trades a steadily shrinking jump size against the fixed cost of a final linear sweep. You can generalize the idea. If the building had n floors and you had still 2 eggs, choose the smallest t with t plus 1 over 2 greater than n. Then use the same decreasing step pattern. For n equals 100, that t is 14 and the concrete sequence beginning at 14, and then adding 13, 12, 11, and so on is the optimal schedule. The plan minimizes the maximum number of drops you will ever need. It protects you both when the threshold is low, where early breaks force more linear checks, and when the threshold is high, where the first egg survives many jumps, but the final gap is small. The symmetry is the proof that 14 is optimal and sufficient.
Picture 5 pirates ranked by age. Pirate 5 is oldest, then 4, 3, 2, 1 as youngest. They must split 100 identical coins. The oldest proposes a split. Everyone votes. If at least half accept, the split passes and the game ends. If not, they throw the proposer overboard, and the next oldest makes a new proposal with the survivors.
Every pirate is perfectly rational. Each wants, in this order, to stay alive, to maximize the number of coins they get, and if two outcomes give the same coins and survival, to see others tossed overboard for sport. The oldest wants to keep as many coins as possible while still winning a vote. He can also vote for his own plan. The clean way to solve this is to reason backward from smaller groups. With one pirate left, he keeps all 100 coins. With 2 pirates left, Pirate 2 proposes. He only needs his own vote plus 1 more to reach at least half. In a 2-person group, half the votes is won, and the proposer counts, so his single yes is enough. He keeps all 100. Pirate 1 gets 0. That tells every younger pirate exactly what happens if the game ever reaches 2. Now consider 3 pirates. 3, 2, 1. Pirate 3 needs 2 votes out of 3, including his own, so he must buy 1 more vote. If his plan fails, Pirate 3 dies, and Pirate 2 will be alone with Pirate 1 next round and, as we just saw, will keep all 100, leaving Pirate 1 with 0. Pirate 1 knows this, so Pirate 3 can secure Pirate 1's support by giving him 1 coin. Because 1 is better than the 0 he would get in the 2-pirate future. Pirate 2 will vote no because he prefers the next round where he gets everything. So a winning plan for Pirate 3 is Pirate 3 takes 99, Pirate 1 gets 1, Pirate 2 gets 0. Votes for yes come from Pirate 3 and Pirate 1. Move to 4 pirates. 4, 3, 2, 1. Pirate 4 needs at least 2 votes in a 4-person crew. He needs at least half, which is 2, and he has his own. He must buy exactly 1 more vote. If his plan fails, Pirate 4 dies, and the next round is the 3-pirate case we just solved. Pirate 3 would offer 99, 0, 1 among 3, 2, 1, so Pirate 2 would get 0 and Pirate 1 would get 1. That tells Pirate 4 whom to bribe on the cheap. He should not pay Pirate 1 a coin because Pirate 1 already expects 1 next round. To win him, Pirate 4 would have to pay at least 2, which is wasteful. Pirate 2, however, expects 0 next round, so 1 coin buys his vote. Pirate 3 expects to become proposer next round and will vote no. Thus Pirate 4 can pass. Pirate 4 takes 99, Pirate 2 gets 1, Pirates 3 and 1 get 0. Votes for yes come from Pirate 4 and Pirate 2. Now handle the full crew of 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pirate 5 needs at least 3 votes out of 5. He has his own, so he must buy 2 more. If his plan fails, we drop to the 4-pirate world just described. In that world, Pirate 4's winning offer gives 1 coin to Pirate 2 and 0 coins to Pirates 3 and 1. That forecast tells Pirate 5 who is cheap to buy. Pirates 3 and 1 expect 0 next round. Each will vote for any plan that gives them at least 1 coin while keeping them alive. Pirate 2 expects to get 1 next round, so he will demand at least 2 to switch, which costs more than needed. Pirate 4 expects to be proposer next and wants the current plan to fail, so he votes no unless paid a lot. So Pirate 5 should buy Pirates 3 and 1 with a single coin each and give nothing to 4 and 2. He keeps the rest. The oldest pirate's maximal share proposal, then, is simple. Pirate 5 takes 98 coins. Pirate 3 gets 1. Pirate 1 gets 1. Pirates 4 and 2 get 0. Voting goes yes from Pirates 5, 3, and 1, which are 3 votes and enough to pass. Pirates 4 and 2 vote no, but they lose. The split stands, and Pirate 5 has maximized his take while still winning. You can check the logic by testing what each pirate compares against. Pirate 1 compares 1 coin now versus 0 in the 4-pirate future and votes yes. Pirate 3 compares 1 coin now versus 0 later and votes yes. Pirate 2 compares 0 now versus 1 in the next round and votes no. Pirate 4 compares 0 now versus becoming proposer next with 99 coins later and votes no. The oldest counts on the 2 cheap votes from those who would otherwise get nothing. This pattern is not a coincidence. It flows from the vote thresholds at each size and from predictable expectations in the next round. In any odd-sized crew, the proposer needs a simple majority, which he builds by paying just enough pirates who would otherwise get nothing next time. In any even-sized crew, the proposer needs only half, including himself, and buys 1 pirate who would otherwise get nothing. The smallest future that each pirate foresees locks in the minimum bribe they'll accept, a single coin if they face 0 later, 2 or more only if they already expect 1 later, and often nothing if they expect to propose next and take the lion's share. If you tweak the tie rule or the priority order, the numbers change. For example, if a tie means the proposer dies, then with an even number, the proposer would need 1 more vote than his own, pushing up the price of a win. If pirates cared more about killing than coins, they might vote no even against their financial interest when indifferent, forcing the proposer to shift the bribes to different people. But under the standard assumptions, survival first, then coins, then throw them overboard only as a tiebreak. The 98-0-1-0-1 split is the oldest pirate's best plan. He spends the absolute minimum to reach 3 votes and pockets the rest. You can extend the reasoning to any number of pirates. Work backward, record who gets paid in each reduced group, and in the larger group, buy the votes of those who would get nothing next time. With 5, exactly 2 such pirates exist in the next round plan, which is why the oldest spends 1 coin on each of them. The backward chain makes the right bribes obvious and shows why the oldest can keep almost everything while still winning the vote. You stand at a fork where one path leads to heaven and the other to hell. 2 monks keep watch. One always tells the truth. One always lies. You may ask a single question to one monk. You need a question that gives a reliable signal no matter who stands before you. The right move is to force both monks to point the same way, and then reverse that answer. The clean question is, if I asked the other monk which path leads to heaven, what would he say? After you hear the answer, take the opposite path. Why this works sits in how the roles interact. The liar inverts the truth. The truth teller preserves it. When you ask one to report the other's answer, you layer those behaviors. If you speak to the truth teller, he reports the liar's claim. The liar would point to hell, so the truthful monk tells you he would say that path, and the finger lands on hell. If you speak to the liar, he lies about what the truthful monk would say. The truthful monk would point to heaven, so the liar flips that and points to hell. Either way, you hear hell. That is the stable output you want. You then take the other path and save yourself. Walk a concrete case to lock it in. Say the left path leads to heaven and the right path leads to hell. First scenario, Monk A is truthful, Monk B lies. You ask A, "If I asked B which path leads to heaven, what would he say?" B would lie and say right. A truthfully reports that. You hear right, so you take left, which is correct. Second scenario, A lies, B is truthful. You ask A the same question. B would say left. A lies about that and says right. Again, you take left. The structure makes the answer you hear wrong by design, so flipping it gives the truth. Notice what you avoid by using this form. If you ask a direct question, like, "Does the left path lead to heaven?" you get no stable signal. The truthful monk says yes when it does. The liar says no when it does. You cannot tell which monk you face, so the same word, yes, could mean safety or doom. You need a form that does not require you to identify the monk. Asking about the other monk's answer gives you exactly that. It encodes the rules into the question, so both rules converge on the same direction, which you then invert. You can view the logic as two operations applied in sequence. Operation 1 is, what would the other monk say? Operation 2 is, does this monk lie or tell the truth? Only one monk lies. Only one tells the truth. A lie applied once flips the answer. A lie applied twice restores it. Here, the other monk's answer already carries either truth or lie. Then the reporting monk either preserves or flips that. With one liar in the chain, the final answer always flips the truth exactly once. So the answer you hear marks the wrong path. If you prefer a picture, treat each path like a signpost. The truthful monk points to the correct sign. The liar flips the sign. The question routes the sign through two hands. The other monk sets the sign first. The monk you asked hands it to you. One flip occurs in that chain, no matter whom you pick, so the sign you receive is reversed. You correct it by reversing once more. It helps to test edge cases. Suppose the monks stand beside the paths, but give only verbal answers, no pointing. The same wording works. If I ask the other monk which path leads to heaven, what would he say? And they answer left, you choose right. If they answer right, you choose left. The content does not depend on gestures. It depends on role behavior, which the puzzle defines without exceptions. What if you worry that the liar could refuse to answer or invent a dodge? The classic setup states the liar always lies, which includes answering your question in a way that makes the statement false. He cannot escape the structure. If he tried silence, that would not be a lie or a truth about the content you asked. The rules assume cooperation in the sense that each monk must answer in line with his nature. That is the same assumption as in all truth or lie puzzles. Some people try to refine the form to which path would the other monk say is heaven. That works the same way. You still reverse it. What you must not do is ask, which path leads to heaven? Or, are you the liar? Or, is he the liar? All those direct questions split answers by identity and leave you stuck. The ask about the other wrapper removes the need to sort identities first. If you want a quick memory aid, think mirror, then flip. The other monk's answer is the mirror. The reporting monk's nature is the flip. Since exactly one flip happens, the result you hear is the mirror image of the truth. You flip it back by taking the opposite. You can adapt this method to similar puzzles. Guards before two doors, villagers who lie and tell the truth, even creatures that answer in code words for yes and no. The core stays the same. Make one character simulate the other. Force the system to produce a consistent wrong answer. Then invert it. This does not rely on clever wording beyond that structure. It relies on the roles being strict and the question targeting the other's response. So the life-saving question is simple and complete. If I ask the other monk which path leads to heaven, what would he say? After you get the answer, go the other way. The elegance lies in how the question turns deception into a tool. You do not need to unmask the liar. You make lying powerless by turning it into a predictable signal and then stepping in the opposite direction.
You want 10 using the digits 1, 2, 3, and 4 exactly once each. You can use parentheses and standard operations. The goal is not to memorize one trick, but to see a few reliable patterns and why they work. I'll give multiple clean constructions first, then explain the thinking so you can build your own. Start with the simplest sum. It meets the rule and sets your baseline. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 equals 10. That uses each digit once and needs no extra symbols. If you want something less obvious, mix operations while still keeping the count to 10. 4 times 2 plus 3 minus 1 equals 8 plus 2 equals 10. This groups into 2 easy chunks and shows how subtraction can top up a product. Here's a similar structure that changes the order but keeps the idea. 3 minus 1 times 4 plus 2 equals 2 times 4 plus 2 equals 8 plus 2 equals 10. Division works well as a small adjustment because 4 divided by 1 equals 4 and 2 divided by 1 equals 2 act like tidy constants. These two hit 10 cleanly. 2 times 3 plus 4 divided by 1 equals 6 plus 4 equals 10. 4 times 3 minus 2 divided by 1 equals 12 minus 2 equals 10. You can also lean on fractions with a simple complement idea. Halves pair nicely with 4. 4 times 3 minus 1 half equals 4 times 2 and a half equals 10. That uses each digit once. The 1 half consumes 1 and 2. The 3 sets the offset, and 4 scales it. If you like a factor and difference feel, here's a tidy one with factorial allowed. Many puzzle versions allow exclamation mark, square root, and exponents. 3 factorial minus 1 times 4 minus 2 equals 6 minus 1 times 2 equals 5 times 2 equals 10. Concatenation, treating 2 digits as a multi-digit number, is another common allowance. If it's permitted, you can fold 1 and 2 into 12 and then balance with the remaining 2 digits. 12 minus 4 plus 3 minus 1 equals 10. That expression uses 1 and 2 once each inside 12, then subtracts 4, adds 3, and subtracts 1. If your version forbids concatenation, skip this style and stay with the earlier forms. Now how to think these up on your own. A quick plan is to split 10 into a big piece and a small correction, then map those to simple results from 1, 2, 3, 4. Products like 4 times 2 equals 8 or 3 times 2 equals 6 give big pieces. Sums and small divisions give corrections. For example, if your big piece is 8, you need a plus 2 from the remaining digits. That leads right to 4 times 2 plus 3 minus 1 because 3 minus 1 equals 2. If your big piece is 12, you need minus 2. That yields 4 times 3 minus 2 divided by 1. If your big piece is 6, you need plus 4, which suggests 2 times 3 plus 4 divided by 1. Another pattern is make 5, then double.
or make 2.5, then quadruple. With digits 1, 2, 3, 4, both are easy. To make 5, use 3 plus 2 or 4 plus 1. Then multiply by 2 from the leftover digits. One clean version is 3 plus 2 times 4 minus 1 equals 5 times 3 equals 15. Close, but not 10. So flip it to the 2.5 idea. 3 minus 1/2 times 4 equals 2.5 times 4 equals 10. You can also look for a 10 split from two mini expressions that each use 2 digits. Try to make 6 and 4, or 8 and 2, or 12 and minus 2. Here are direct hits for those pairs. Make 8 and 2, 4 times 2, and 3 minus 1, 4 times 2 plus 3 minus 1. Make 12 and minus 2, 4 times 3 and minus 2 divided by 1. 4 times 3 minus 2 divided by 1. Make 6 and 4, 2 times 3 and 4 divided by 1. 2 times 3 plus 4 divided by 1. If your rule set allows square roots and factorials, a few more tasteful options open up without clutter. Square root of 4 equals 2 gives you an extra 2 built from the 4. Then 3 plus 1 times square root of 4 equals 4 times 2 equals 8, which misses. But the factorial rescue works well. 3 factorial minus 1 times 4 minus 2 equals 10, as shown above. If exponents are allowed, you often overshoot, but you can still land on 10 now and then. For example, 2 cubed equals 8 is close. You need plus 2 using digits 1 and 4. But 4 divided by 2 equals 2 would reuse 2. With strict once each rules, you can't do that. That's why the exponent root often needs more room than this puzzle gives. Stick to the tidy algebraic forms unless the puzzle master blesses a wider symbol set. A few quick checks help avoid mistakes. First, scan the final expression and tick off each digit 1, 2, 3, 4 exactly once. Second, confirm the order of operations is what you intend. Multiplication and division before addition and subtraction, unless parentheses say otherwise. Third, sense check your correction. If your big piece is 12, the rest must net to minus 2, not plus 2. It's easy to add when you meant to subtract. To practice, try building 10 by forcing yourself to pick the big piece first. Say you pick 8. Your correction must be plus 2 using the remaining 2 digits. If those digits are 3 and 1, the only simple plus 2 you can make is 3 minus 1. That leads right to 4 times 2 plus 3 minus 1. If you start with 6, your correction must be plus 4 using digits 4 and 1. The cleanest is 4 divided by 1. That yields 2 times 3 plus 4 divided by 1. If you pick 12, your correction must be minus 2 using digits 1 and 2. That's 2 divided by 1 with a minus sign, giving 4 times 3 minus 2 divided by 1. The method guides your hand rather than hoping for a lucky guess. Here are the compact winners again, so you can pick your favorite. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 equals 10. 4 times 2 plus 3 minus 1 equals 10. 3 minus 1 times 4 plus 2 equals 10. 2 times 3 plus 4 divided by 1 equals 10. 4 times 3 minus 2 divided by 1 equals 10. 4 times 3 minus 1/2 equals 10. 3 factorial minus 1 times 4 minus 2 equals 10. If concatenation allowed. 12 minus 4 plus 3 minus 1 equals 10. Each meets the use 1, 2, 3, 4 once rule. Each shows a small, repeatable idea. Pair a strong product with a tiny correction, or build a neat fraction and scale it. Once you spot those patterns, you can craft many more. Yes, they can fit. Even though every room already has a guest, the hotel has countably infinite rooms, numbered 1, 2, 3, and so on. The clerk can make space by shifting people. Tell each current guest in room N to move to room N plus 1. The guest in 1 moves to 2. The guest in 2 moves to 3, and so on. Room 1 becomes empty, and the new guest takes room 1. No one gets evicted. Everyone still has a room. This works because full in an infinite list does not mean no more space after we rearrange. It means only that every numbered spot is taken at the moment. A simple shift creates a vacancy at the start. You can see why this policy is safe. Before the move, each guest has a room number N. After the move, the same guest has N plus 1. No two guests collide, because if two guests started in different rooms N and M, with N not equal M, then N plus 1 not equal M plus 1, so they still end in different rooms. The mapping is 1-to-1. The move is easy to announce and easy to check. If a bus with 10 new guests arrives, the clerk can still fit them. Tell each current guest in room N to move to room N plus 10. That frees up rooms 1 through 10, which the new group fills. The logic is the same. Each old guest keeps a unique room number, just shifted up by 10. The new guests take the first 10 rooms in order. If a bus with countably infinite new guests arrives, you can still fit them. This time, send each current guest in room N to room 2N. That moves everyone into the even-numbered rooms, 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. Now all the odd-numbered rooms are empty, 1, 3, 5, 7, and so on. Assign the new infinite line of guests to the odd rooms in order. The first new guest takes 1, the next takes 3, then 5, and so on. Again, no collisions. The old guests own the evens. The new guests own the odds. If many buses show up, each with infinitely many guests, you can still house them. Label the buses 1, 2, 3, and so on, and the seats within each bus 1, 2, 3. You need a way to pair each bus seat combination with a single room number so that every pair gets a unique spot. One clean method uses prime powers. Map the guest in bus B, seat S, to room 2 to the power of B times 3 to the power of S. Because every positive integer has a unique prime factorization, no two different pairs land on the same room number. Another method uses a diagonal walk through a grid. Place bus numbers on one axis and seat numbers on the other, and count along diagonals to assign room numbers 1, 2, 3 in a sweep. In both methods, you produce a 1-to-1 assignment between a countable set of pairs and the single list of room numbers. The hotel stays infinite and nothing runs out. If a continuous stream of single guests keeps arriving one by one, you do not need to reshuffle the entire building each time. You can run a standing rule. When a new guest arrives, tell everyone to move from N to N plus 1 at once. Or better, reserve a small buffer of empty rooms at the front by occasionally performing a large shift, say move from N to N plus 100 to open many rooms, then fill those as arrivals trickle in. The puzzle ignores logistics, like moving time and elevators. It focuses on whether such an assignment exists in principle. In that sense, you can always make space for any finite number of newcomers, and even for countably infinite newcomers, by a systematic renumbering. The heart of the trick is that countably infinite sets can be put into one-to-one correspondence with proper subsets of themselves. The list of natural numbers 1, 2, 3 has the same size as the list of even numbers 2, 4, 6, and so on. That is why the n to 2n move works. The hotel keeps the same size, yet it frees infinitely many rooms. Likewise, adding a finite number k of guests needs only the shift n to n plus k. These moves feel impossible only if you carry over finite intuition, where full prevents any new placements. Infinity breaks that intuition. You might worry about fairness or comfort. In a real hotel, asking every guest to move rooms would be annoying. The puzzle does not model that. It models pure assignment. If you want to reduce moves, you can tailor the mapping to shift only the guests you must. For a single new guest, you can move only the guest from room 1 to room 2, room 2 to room 3, and so on up to the lowest empty room you choose to free. But with a hotel that starts truly full, any finite chain of swaps still implies a systematic shift. The elegant n to n plus 1 rule just expresses that chain in one line. The idea scales to other odd requests. If someone asks to house all current guests plus one extra guest for each current guest, you can still fit them by interleaving rooms. Send old guest n to room 2n and send the plus 1 guest paired with n to room 2n minus 1. If someone brings a guest for every rational number, fractions like 1/2, 7/3, -5/4, you can still, in principle, assign rooms because the rationals are countable. List them without repeats and map them to room numbers 1, 2, 3. The hotel fails only when you face an uncountable demand, like one guest for every real number. There is no one-to-one assignment from all real numbers to the natural numbers. That limit marks the edge of what the infinite hotel can do. So the new guest fits. So do many more. Move each current guest from n to n plus 1 to free room 1. For larger groups, adjust the mapping to n to n plus k, or n to 2n, or a diagonal pairing. The puzzle teaches how countable infinity bends the usual rules and still keeps perfect bookkeeping. You need only 23 people in a room for the chance of at least one shared birthday to cross 50%. That result surprises most people because our intuition compares each person to one fixed birthday, like your own, where the match chance is only 1 out of 365. The paradox fades when you change the frame. We do not ask, does anyone match a fixed date? We ask, does any pair match each other? As the group grows, the number of pairs grows much faster than the number of people. Those pairs drive the odds upward. Work from the clean model. Assume 365 equally likely birthdays and ignore leap day. Also, assume birthdays are independent and spread evenly across the year. These assumptions are not perfect in the real world, but they give a standard baseline that matches the usual statement of the puzzle. It is easier to compute the complement. Instead of at least one match, compute no matches at all, then subtract from one. Start with one person. The first person can have any birthday, so the probability of no match after one person is 365 over 365, which equals 1. Add a second person. For no match to remain true, the second person must land on one of the other 364 days. The probability of that is 364 over 365. Add a third person. They must avoid the 2 occupied days, so the probability is 363 over 365. Keep going. With n people, the no-match probability is 365 over 365 times 364 over 365 times 363 over 365 times 365 minus n plus 1 over 365. The match probability is 1 minus that product. When you plug in n equals 23, the product is about 0.4927. Subtract from 1 and you get about 0.5073, which is just over 50%. So with 23 people, a shared birthday is more likely than not. You can feel the growth by counting pairs. The number of pairs in a group of n is n times n minus 1 divided by 2. With 23 people, you have 23 times 22 divided by 2, which equals 253 pairs. Each pair has a small chance to match, but there are many pairs. That network of chances adds up. Your intuition may picture only 22 chances against your own birthday. The real process checks 253 pairings. A few checkpoints help build trust in the numbers. With 10 people, the chance of a shared birthday is only about 11.7%. With 20 people, it climbs to about 41%. With 23, it crosses the halfway mark at about 50.7%. With 30, it reaches about 70%. With 50, it is over 97%. Each step adds people linearly, but the pairs rise quadratically, so the curve bends up faster than you expect. You can approximate the same result with a quick log trick if you do not want to multiply many fractions. For moderate n, use the fact that ln 1 minus x is approximately negative x when x is small. Write the no-match probability as the product from k equals 0 to n minus 1 of 365 minus k over 365, which equals the product from k equals 0 to n minus 1 of 1 minus k over 365. Take logs and use the approximation. ln no match equals negative 1 over 365 times the sum from k equals 0 to n minus 1 of k, which equals negative 1 over 365 times n minus 1 divided by 2. No match is approximately x, negative n times n minus 1 over 2 times 365. Set this equal to 1/2 and solve for n. You get n times n minus 1 approximately equal to 2 times 365 times ln 2, which is approximately 2 times 365 times 0.693, which equals 505. So n is approximately the square root of 505, which is about 22.5. Round up and you reach 23. The approximation lands on the same headline figure and explains why the threshold behaves like a square root of 365 times a constant. The model assumptions matter if you need exact real-world numbers. Births are not perfectly uniform over the calendar. Some dates are more common than others. Leap day adds a 366th day for a small share of the population. Twins raise the match odds inside certain groups, but these deviations push the result only a little. In many real settings, the 23 number remains a good guide, and the direction of change is often to increase the match chance, since uneven distributions create clusters. You can also change what match means and watch the threshold move. If you ask for a shared birthday month and day only, you get the classic 23. If you include the year, Matches become far rarer because the pool of possible dates is much larger. If you relax the condition to same birthday month, the threshold drops because there are only 12 bins, not 365. The same complement logic works for any such binning. Compute the chance that all n people fall into different bins, then subtract. The paradox teaches a sober lesson about pairwise events. When you assess risk or chance in a group, do not anchor on one person. Count how many pairs or interactions exist. In a class, in a workplace, in a large chat, the number of potential pairings rises quickly. That is why collisions, duplicates, and matches show up more often than gut feel predicts. The birthday example is simple to state and fast to compute, which makes it a handy tool for training your intuition. So the answer is 23. With 23 people and the simple 365-day model, the chance of at least one shared birthday is just over 50%. The math behind it is a clean complement product. The reason it surprises is that pairs grow faster than people. Once you look at the group as a web of pairs, the odds make sense.